North American stock futures once again pointing to modestly lower open coming up this morning as we see higher interest rates and bond yields moving back to the upside, taking the forefront and focus once again this morning. We had the 10-year Treasury topping out about 1.5% yesterday. We're up to about 1.53 and change this morning. So the focus shifting once again back towards inflation and the possibility of higher interest rates. Overall, yesterday we had the Dow in positive territory. Both the S&P and NASDAQ, if you remember, snapped 4 session winning streaks, ending the day in the red. The discussion of higher inflation and bond yields moving back to the upside came back to the forefront after last week. You remember the Fed left rates unchanged, but signaled the possibility for at least one rate hike coming up in 22, and then 3 and 4 to follow in 23 and 24. Thursday this week will be the last day of September, obviously, but also the last day of the third quarter on the month. We still have the Dow down 1.4%, the S&P off about 1.8%, and the NASDAQ still down 1.9% for September. Individually this morning, we'll talk about Ford. Big investment coming for EVs and batteries from Ford, so moving higher this morning. AMD saying the global chip shortage might be done by next year. We'll have a look at AMD trading lower. And is it today Tesla will test 800? It's lower in the pre-market, so doubtful. It's Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at how things stand at this point. Yeah, the NASDAQ leading the way so far. 1.5% already in the red. The S&P 0.8. So you can see the Dow, not able to hang on to positive territory as we saw yesterday in the red as well. Even crypto's at the bottom there, a little bit negative so far this morning. 1.4 for Bitcoin, 1% and change for Ethereum. Crude oil moving higher as well. We'll talk about energy stocks here a little bit. Good morning, guys. It's Tuesday. Energy with a big move yesterday. Crude continues its run again today. We saw some of the oil-related stocks following suit as well. But Neil and I were discussing this a little bit earlier this morning. I feel like it's 8 months ago all over again, because here we go. Higher inflation, higher U.S. 10-year. So that has come back to the forefront, and growth stocks getting hit here.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the show here. I seem to remember that not getting as out of hand as people expected 8 months ago. So maybe we'll take some of this with a grain of salt as well. I mean, I just sorted my quote board here, and the positive names are you got some small caps in there, and you've got Camber, which has been running, Ford, which has its news. You got Oxy in energy space, Acceleron. I think Merck's going to be buying them, and then Alibaba up 1.5%. They're going to be accepting WeChat Pay. Which is, along the lines of some of the Chinese tech companies integrating themselves and getting off the schneid a little bit today. So that might not have been the first name I would have expected to see. To the downside, of course, my quote board, mostly in the red here, as you can easily see. But at the end of the day, maybe Baba's trying to make a bit of a move. We'll see what happens. There's a big 154 level. There's going to be a lot actionable today, right? You're going to have all of big tech moving. Some of the names from yesterday's action are still going to be quite heavily involved. Of course, Tesla off of that 800 level, I should say, could be interesting again. And Camber continues its run. It's up another 8.5%. So there's going to be a lot to get to. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. We got a big day. We got some big guests. Should be a great one here, Sean.
Yeah, I just tweeted, Mr. Wonderful is going to be here at 10:30 talking another business here. Shout out to Fruit Salad Nation now. Yeah, we got it here a little bit. Blueberries and whatnot, getting ready to kick it. But look, we've been talking about it for a long time, so we'll go hell yeah. Hell yeah. A little delayed there for Ford because we've been pumping the tires and pumping the brakes and everything. Speak about Ford, there he is right there, Randy. Look, I've been talking about Ford since $6, $7, $8. So now it's at 15. So congratulations anybody that's held this one. An easy one to hold in your portfolio. Not too much happening with the volatility on the name. And then today you're getting it upside now. Big time break here on the 20-minute chart. You see the daily chart. Sorry about all these wicks, but we've broken out here. I bought just the other day, breaking through 1330 right there. And now it's nice to see where we're going. But this is going to be a long-term trade for me. So No expectations of getting out of Ford, but it's a nice one. And then you mentioned AMD. I mean, the bigger and the best just keep getting better. We talked about NVIDIA yesterday. Hopefully AMD can break that 107 again today. But the market down 1.5%. Told you, we're not buying until next week. So let's just keep our checkbooks out and our pens ready to rock and roll. Does anyone even write checks anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're paying rent or something.
I saw a check in a show I was watching The Serpent, which on Netflix. It's actually pretty good. And they're like, the guys are writing a check, and I'm like, holy crap, I cannot remember the last time.
But that's based on an old, isn't that's not current day The Serpent?
No, it's old. That's old as all hell.
So
it's actually, you know what? It's worth a watch.
Makes sense.
You'd probably like it.
All right, Brendo.
I had to recently write a check to a contractor, guys, because they will charge 2% if you use credit cards. So, yeah, that was the last time I wrote a check.
It was with cash.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie. I ain't writing no checks for nobody. I don't want no paper trail. I'm giving straight cash. Open up the bank. Let's go.
I need to get an armored truck then, apparently, because it's going to take a lot. Anyways, before we continue here, let's get over to Miss B and say good morning.
To be a very exciting and busy day. I wish you all the luck. Please enjoy your trading and the show, and make sure to like this video. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yes, indeed. Let's get this started, guys. We were talking yesterday a little bit about the overall market and the lack of any kind of negative follow-through when it comes to this whole China ordeal and Evergrande. Today we are seeing obviously a little more negativity. The discussion, however, as we said to kick things off here this morning, more focused on the possibility of inflation and higher rates. But there you go. That's the latest for anyone wondering about the Evergrande story. So China now asking state-backed firms to start picking up some of Evergrande's assets. So they don't actually go into talk about what those are yet in this article, but maybe the beginning here, guys, of this thing being torn apart.
Yeah, but I think it seems like it might at least be orderly, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it does feel like, you know, the Chinese government is aware that they don't want there to be too much.
It was never going to be a
so,
problem.
You know, they're not gonna let things get absolutely out of hand here. I think we've definitely got some. Well, I should say we, because I'm talking North American markets, right, have some bigger things to concern ourselves with today. Like, you didn't have the negative follow through yesterday in a lot of tech. You had a lot of names bouncing, and then we come in today, you get 1.5 on the 10-year, and this is going to be a big response day because now the NASDAQ is down 1.5. Yesterday, it didn't bleed to the overall market, right? Like, the ES was strong. The Dow was actually relatively strong as well. I looked at, you know, things like not just your energy names, but some of your, you know, like your Caterpillars, your materials companies were all relatively strong as well. Today you're coming and it's like across the board. We're to the downside. The ES is you know, at 0.8% as I'm showing here on the chart. So this is that possible follow-through day where you know, sort of the confirmation that you can actually have after what I thought was a decent relief yesterday at one point rally and not a broad market-wide move. You're going to get that today, and this could be the start of maybe a deeper pullback where you can get some value in there and then get that shopping list out. Like recently, you know, it's been the staple stocks and some of the cyclicals that have been the place where you can hide, and then it looks like it might start to be time to go shopping if we continue this for another couple of days here. So looks like it's shaping up to be a fun day, at least in terms of trading, in terms of price action, but certainly, you know, down 1.5%. As I sit here starting the show, I can't remember the last time we were on the low at 1.5 on the NASDAQ, so that's a little bit new. We've seen like 1.2, and then we've rebounded a little bit, but this is it just feels a little bit different.
Yeah, I think when we opened yesterday, we were 1.314, so it's pretty good today. A nice little swoosh to the downside. I mean, I'm waiting for a much bigger swoosh than this, so I think this could be the start. So we'll find out what's going on. On that cash talk there, my 9-year-old kid even asks for cash prices right now. No matter where he goes now, he's like at Walmart. Like, what's the cash price there? But well, maybe not Walmart. But wherever we go now, he asks about cash prices. Okay, so look, I never thought that Evergrande was going to be that big of a deal. I really think that the government over there will get it all figured out, and it won't spill over here. But there is worry about growth right now. You talked about the 10-year. I think it's a good opportunity to buy some of these names. You know, like a Ford. We talked about. I want to get into some Nucor and some steel. So hopefully, I'm waiting for a flush there as well. And I'm actually surprised that AMD is actually up or just the same as the market here. I thought some of these NASDAQ names would be a little bit worse off today, especially with growth like we just talked about versus value coming through today. Apple broke that 145 obviously when you're down here. So this is near a level that I'm a little bit concerned about here for Apple. If you look at the, we can look at a 20 minute, but just at a daily chart here, we break down below this 142. It's gonna be a problem in my opinion, especially if we close down there. We haven't closed. This is to Neil's point. We haven't closed below 142 yet on Apple. So, if that happens, then you're going to get a tick down here. Then tomorrow, if you get a similar kind of move down, you're down 0.5%, 1%. Then you're at 140 and change on Apple, which is going, trust me, is going to be a little bit of a problem on that one. Here's the Evergrande chart. If you want to trade this on the pink sheets, I don't think you want to, but let's just look at it right here. So we're still 34 cents. So not much really happening to the common equity down here since we've reported this. So we'll have to see what happens here. The 27th was yesterday, and it just barcoded all day. It did 34 cents all day on not much volume. So not much really happening with the equity there. We'll find out who's going to get bailed out and who isn't. But I just don't really think that this spills over. You can find some value in Bank of America and JP Morgan, things like that here on US side banks. That's what I would touch, or Canadian. Stay away from Chinese, even still right now, even though BABA was a nice move to the upside.
Digital brands, guys. If you remember back from the early summer, I want to say July, this thing had a bit of a squeeze. Yeah, it was June and July. This got all the way up here to 8.5, 9. Just popped up on increased guidance. So 2022 revenue guidance, an increase of 350%. So they updated their current. So a big move here on decent volume. It's worth mentioning back into these levels from back in the summer for DBGI. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye on that one as well. As far as the rest of these stocks that are moving a little bit in the pre-market, we mentioned Ford, obviously. Tesla with a big day yesterday, another one that's in negative territory this morning. They said their latest version of the full self-driving is coming next Friday. So if you remember yesterday, the catalyst was Elon saying this is going to be the most intense week ever for deliveries for Tesla. But another one that had a pretty impressive move yesterday.
Oh, well, you've got me. You've caught me looking for pay for shorts on DBGI there, Brendan. So, and I was just saying to Sean, I feel like that stock, it should be DGBI. So that's why I always mess it up. Like the 800 level, Tesla was a good trade yesterday, and it gave you both levels of action. But there's nothing as strong as it was when this happens in the market. There's just almost no chance that you're not going to get a bit of a pullback here, right? Like you have two things working against Tesla today. Getting back to that 800 level. One, like you have Ford with a monster investment, which just furthers the theme of, you can play that two ways. You can go ahead and say more competition, but you can also kind of say validating the EV space in general. I tend to think in this context with the reverse law of 800, it can be a bit of a drag on Tesla today. And then you throw in the fact that the move to the downside, which was mostly in NASDAQ and growth, is extending across the board. So Tesla's strength might be outweighed by that. So we get anywhere near, I'm not even necessarily thinking, that back to that 800 level is going to be a thing. I think you need a big, strong market move to get there. I think there might be some levels that might be worth shorting in front of that one, potentially around like that 87 to 90 area on Tesla. We'll have to see. One of the first things we said when we came in, Brendan, was how many times has Ford felt like, okay, this is it, like it's up, it's one of the strong stocks. Look for the day trade there. And then it's just the only thing you could do would be patient and buy the dip because it doesn't really break out. So if you believe that Ford could even have a dip at the open, it's hard to imagine Tesla making that run to 800. And maybe that's an afternoon thing. Maybe we get some kind of a capitulation, short-term bottom today, and Tesla has somehow held up. I don't know if that's going to be true. At one point, I was looking at a 775 break for a short trade. We've gotten a little bit of ways away from that, so this is sort of when I thought we were going to be heading down a little bit weaker here. But if we're going to be up at that 782, it's the fade play I'm going to like on Tesla. Absolutely love Tesla. Don't get me wrong, and I wouldn't even sell any shares here in the long term. I just think momentum is momentum, and we try to be able to play within the range here in Tesla. And I look for that. I look for some resistance to be well in front of that 800, closer to the 87 to 90 range today.
Everything's all about Tesla, but actually NIO, I think, made a relatively stronger move yesterday than Tesla. We started at $34 and we end the day almost near $37, so almost 10% up yesterday on NIO from the very bottoms there. So, I mean, look at NIO, how strong they were yesterday. Expecting something very, very similar today with NIO. However, obviously, we're going to have to battle this market. So, you know, there was some dip buy opportunities here at 36 on NIO. I think that could be something there, especially with, you know, we talked about this as soon as the story hit, when Meng Wanzhou there from Huawei was released, and then the two Michaels were released as well. That was last week. I thought that was a good, you know, olive branch extension there. And you've seen some nice moves up here, especially in some of the Chinese names, including that Alibaba. We'll talk more about it today. But NIO coming off the bottom here, I mean, the bottom is pretty close to where we are, 34.75. So if you take a shot right now on NIO, it's 36.25. So, I mean, this has a lot of room to go to the upside. So if you do like the EV space and you do kind of like, you know, get some Chinese exposure here and in a spot that I think is right, I mean, this is not a horrible call at all, NIO. So instead of battling, you know, through Tesla, which a lot of people I think want to hold instead of trade, NIO has great opportunities. It's a much lower, obviously, you know, 5% or 5%, the price of that stock of Tesla, so you can get in a lot more cash into this name. So I like NIO to the long side here. We'll find out some levels as we get closer, but definitely keep NIO on your radar today.
Jeff Mandel, VP of OTC Markets, I should say, joining us once again on the show to discuss a rule change. Good to see you as always, Jeff. If you remember when last we spoke, we were discussing this 15C-211 and talking about the fact that this change was going to be implemented actually today. So it's great to have you to kind of introduce everyone to what this means for OTC markets and quotation specifically.
Oh, thank you, Brendan. So actually the rule change is going into effect today. And so today what that means is there's a subset of symbols, approximately 2,000, that yesterday you could see a proprietary quoted. So that means, you know, like when you pull up your level 2, right, you can actually see the market makers in it. That was yesterday. Today, in those 2,000 or so names, that no longer exists, right? Basically the SEC wanted to make it so securities that weren't up to date in their filings no longer could have that public quote out there. What it also means, though, you know, let's look forward, right? What does that mean for you guys, like when you want to trade, right? The rule also includes a carve out where we're going to gain securities as well too that will now be tradable. So actually, you know, in the weeks to come, when everything when everything starts to actually become quotable, we'll get you some new names out there to actually trade. It's going to be probably about 300 Canadian names as well too. So that will probably interest you guys the most for sure. As far as that goes, it doesn't really affect trading in the popular names, though, like Grayscale. So, you know, GBTC, ETHE, and then also Tencent, right? You're not going to see any change in those names.
So when we discuss the reasons why here, and you mentioned it there, up-to-date filings with the SEC. So basically any company that's not is no longer going to be able to, you're not going to see a quote on the level 2. So if you're wondering, and you're normally trading the OTC markets and you don't see something this morning, that is why, again, that rule coming into effect as of today. Jeff, we were discussing this whole Evergrande story over the past couple of days and going back into last week. Evergrande, obviously, primary listing over in Hong Kong, but there is an OTC listing as well. When we talk about opportunities and volume and increased volatility, that was definitely one the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know, and so something like Evergrande, right? You know, I'm actually looking it up right now. Remember, this is all happening today, so let's see if there's a quote in it. So this is actually a name that it looks like you'll actually still be able to trade it. So when you bring it up, in your level 2 on whatever platform you're on, you should be able to place an order and actually see it out there.
And when it comes to any other opportunities of late, tell us what has been moving, what has been doing the most volume.
Well, you know, not to sound like a broken record, but Grayscale products, it's absolutely amazing how these things are holding up and all the liquidity that's still in there. You know, last week we had the craziness with China coming out and saying that all crypto-related business is basically banned. Right? Big swing in GBTC and ETHE, and market makers and OTCX were in there. In there the whole way when you were searching for liquidity. Today, it looks like everything is right around trading right around the close yesterday, but lots of activity though, with probably almost 50,000 shares traded in GBTC already this morning.
Yeah, if anyone is looking for exposure, obviously, in the crypto markets, a great way to do so if you're looking for a stock-specific way to do that. Jeff Mendel, VP OTC Markets. We appreciate the clarification and the, I guess, explanation on the rule change, again, coming into effect today. Guys, again, if you don't see a quote on an OTC listed name, that is due to this rule change. And again, it has to do with up-to-date filing. So a pleasure as always, Jeff. Thank you.
One last thing, guys. You
Of
can
course.
also check out our website too, otcmarkets.com. That'll give you a lot of information and help you figure out if the symbol that you're used to trading is affected by the rule.
Most active on otcmarkets.com. A great resource. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. Guys, just to discuss it on our side of the table here, it's something that we have to be aware of. So if you're pulling up something that's listed on the OTC markets today, and there is no quote, now we know why.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about not being, not getting that shock and awe or that surprise, to be sure. So, that's what it's all about. I mean, Sean, I know you had the website up there just for everyone to be able to see OTC. It's good. There's volume there. We trade it here at Day Trade the World relatively heavily when it comes to the grayscale content. Usually, other traders are looking at the equity names. I'm gonna throw it out there because you brought DGBI. See, I'm gonna make this mistake a lot, guys. I apologize in advance. Digital brands, I'll just call them digital brands. No locates on this name. So we don't have any shorts, but immediately I just want to jump over to the daily. 485, big level. It just turned at 481. So it looks like it's already put in like the first obvious bag holding high at 485 and is trying to pull back, but great sign that it's holding 450, at least for the bulls. 45 would lend itself to a break. I know $5 does loom there, but that's the resistance level. I'm going to keep checking to see if we get some locates on it. I'd like to be able to go in both directions, have that flexibility, but digital brands, late one to the list and doing fantastic volume.
Yep. Yeah, thanks to Jeff for coming through. It'll be an exciting day on the pink sheets. And it's always exciting. I don't know if it'll be exciting today, but it's always good to see, names go down there. Then you get that instant volume like you're talking about. So we'll wait to see if there's anything else delisting. I know Luck and Coffee's been a recent one with some good moves as well. And then you talked about the grayscale products. So yeah, let's look forward to trading more OTC markets.
Few analyst moves, guys, for you this morning. A couple names we haven't seen on here for a while. Chewy, one of those to the upside today. Wolf Research was actually down more than that, I saw early on, but $90 price target there. Etsy, Fortinet, Costco we talked about last week, obviously off of earnings. Microchip, Las Vegas Sands, Wells Fargo, and Wynn. So, yeah, the hotel's just not getting any love from the analysts, guys.
Yeah, that was Citigroup. Citigroup double downgraded both of those names. And I think, again, they're just getting out of the way of that Chinese rhetoric. And I've written down Win on my shopping list. So I will go in there and buy soon. It's just, like I said, October is going to be when I start to do it. Chewy's an interesting call for me here because, again, it's been beat down. They haven't done well their last couple earnings reports. A miss here back in February and then a miss here. I think it was in September? No, I don't think they haven't reported yet, but some big, maybe it was right here. Some big in April, some big swoosh downs here for Chewy, right? And I guess, it was probably way too overvalued here because, we heard about, it was a pet's best friend coming through, right, for the pandemic. There's a lot of pets. I mean, more pets purchased and brought into households than ever, and more dogs as well. Great, and it's a great story because there was more dogs adopted out and things like that. So Chewy, that was part of that reopen play, or part of the stay-at-home play, sorry. So now you're on the reopen, and I don't think people are going to be like kicking their dogs to the curb or anything like that, which is why I honestly think this is probably overdone to the downside right now. So I just think that Chewy does have a potential here to start to bump up a little bit. $90 would make sense to me why they put that price target on. You do have a nice bottom here of 65. So, I think this is an investable name. Let's just see where it goes. You can always get out if you break around 60. I mean, 60 seems to be a decent little support area right there. So 70, so you're putting in $10 worth of risk, to get to get back going here. So I just think that, hey, look, people, once they bring a pet into their household, I mean, Brendan, you know this. I mean, everybody that has a pet knows this. You know, it just becomes part of the family, and you almost do anything for it. So I think Chewy does give that personable, you know, relationship with your dog. We don't have it here in Canada, but from what I've read and what I've heard, it's a big one. And I've been an investor since the IPO, so it's been a good one for me. I haven't bought any more shares, but this is making it interesting here at $70.
Yeah, I see the gamer stream, short dogs, long cats. Everyone to each their own. There was another name on that list, although everyone here is dog people. I actually like cats, but anyways, Costco was the name on that list, and I think some of the retail names, at least consumer retail names here, and even Etsy kind of falls into that category. Could be places. We talked about getting defensive with some cyclicals and some materials and whatnot before, and now you look at what might be earlier in the cycle buying on dips, and I think you can put something like a Costco into that range. Certainly it's a ridiculously strong stock. I think maybe tech will be the last thing that you're looking to buy dips on, but look for things like Costco. Throw some other names out there. Lowe's, I guess, would make some sense. Who else? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure, I always say Pepsi, but I think that could be come and gone. But Costco's a name I'm not in. I would love to, absolutely. I mean, everyone I know that shops there absolutely loves it. You're getting a little bit closer to that 450 level, and maybe that'll be tested with a couple more down days. But you see some relative strength in this name. Etsy, of course, like we said, was already on that list as well.
Here is my two here. So here's William. I think you guys can probably see that. Yeah, there's William and there's Bell. So they're just looking at me saying, "What's going on over here?" As I take a picture of these two. So this is fresh from this past weekend. So William and Bell, what's up to Chewy and all animal lovers there. And we also have an axolotl, if you know what that is as well. So crazy times in the Katina household.
All right, guys, let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market this morning. If you are looking for the morning watch list, that is the link that you can find it at. Every single morning we post it there for free, F-R-E-E, free. All you need is an email address, and you can have that every single morning. Let's talk about Ford. Out aftermarket yesterday, $11 billion investment going into electric vehicle production. It's going to include multiple plants across the U.S., Kentucky, Tennessee, each getting one of those. As much as 11,000 new jobs created here by 2025. So great look here for Ford.
Yeah, I mean, Ford, I've been preferring Ford over everything, and we talked about EV space, and it's not going to move. It's not going to move like a Fisker or anything like that. I mean, you can get Fisker moving from 12 to 15 like it just did, no problem, and then back down, no problem, right? So Ford here, you're going to take an American iconic company and be able to buy them right now as they go through, new management there. Jim Farley, they just hired somebody from Apple a couple weeks ago, and I just, I'm infatuated with Ford. I think it's one of the better plays. It's ramped up to number 5 on my all-time holding position right now that I'm never going to get out of. So it's number 5 now. So it moves right into the tech space with all the other names. I'm super happy with Ford. We recently bought it at $13.30. This break right here. We talked about that on the show. We were waiting for that. We didn't buy anything down here just in case the move did happen. But every single time, Ford's kind of based out. They based out right here at 11, and I believe we just did another base right now at 13. So I like Ford for the long run. Now for the day trade today, look, it's up 3%. They invested $11 billion. That's a lot into the EV space. So we may fade back down a little bit here on Ford, up 3% with the market down 1% on the S&P, the NASDAQ down 1.5%. I believe Ford does come back in a little bit, and that's when we start to buy. So I'm not a buyer right away on Ford. I want to wait for it. We didn't look at the imbalance locators yet. Yeah, see, something's going on with I can't even get anything from my taskbar. Oh, man. Anyways, no imbalance locator for me today, but Ford's on there. I think it's one of the number 1 bids on the locator.
Yeah, I'll quickly bring it up here, just my oversized one here, and we'll see usually, look, Ford is a $14 stock, is soon to be $15 stock, is going to be one of the big ones, but it's the only thing on the imbalance locator. You can see 1.1 million. Well, I shouldn't say only, because you see Occidental there, 350. That's a strong name. We were talking about that yesterday. And then, of course, Pfizer. There is some more drug maker news. Like we said at the offset, every time Ford gets a bump like this, on news, and you get the bigger gap up, it just feels like it's a dip buy, and that was one of the first things that we were thinking about when we sat down here today. And I got to look at 14 and a quarter is the obvious sort of price area you think there could be a cluster. Now that's the afternoon highs. It gets down in that range. I like it. I think it could be an offer at 15 that's worth maybe a scalp trade in front of. So if we test that 15 area, could be in there for like a short trade if there's like 1 million shares on the offer, or maybe even more than that. But that's what we'll look for on Ford today. If it does that dip, I'd rather be dip buying than trying to catch any breakouts on Ford today.
A few hard to borrow stocks today. DBGI looks to be one of those. There are very, very limited shares, it would appear. Let's have a look at the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun and talk about the futures, because we are continuing back to the downside here, back towards day lows so far, Arun.
Yeah, towards day lows, down towards just underneath that 4,400 even mark now. This was an area that we were talking about yesterday. And I said if we got below, soft stop underneath 25, we got there, possible shorts, maybe going down to 4,400 at that point. You got to assess the idea of the support levels that are below here going all the way down to 43.50. And here we are, markets down, well, tech's down 1.5%. S&P is 0.8%, 0.8%. And here we are, yesterday we saw this too in tech. There was a big divergence between how tech was moving and how the broad 500 were going. And tech was tremendously weaker. And here we are, we're seeing it again. Tech is on the sell side again, much more deeper in the red than the rest of the market is. So you got to keep an eye on the tech. Top 6 names, again, I always talk about this: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Tesla, right? The top names in the indexes, top weights in the indexes, how these stocks go. That's the way the general market will go for a little bit at the very least. Apple has the largest weight, so keep an eye on that as well. So here we are with levels. What do we do? Well, 44.30 is what I'm looking at, 44.30, just under, above 44.30 with the soft stop. So possible shorts are available if you get above 10 and you start to slow down. That's what I'm looking for anyways. If we can get away from this 4,400 mark and just kind of create some separation. I still like the idea of the short, but not at these prices. So some separation between here and 44.30. If we can just get up a little bit more, above 10 would do it for me. So getting up there and then starting to slow down, I'd like to go ahead and take the shot on the short side. And then to the downside, you really don't have a whole lot you can do unless you get all the way down to 43.50. So I'm open to the idea of possible longs if we get maybe into the 80s, the 85s, and we start to set up. Even then, that's a big risk, right? That's about 30, 35 points in risk. So it really does have to set up, but there's a lot of space to the downside. That's what I would favor the shorts for now, at least. If we get a nice little pop right off the open and we get an aggressive, sharp opening to the upside, straight up from here, from 4,400 or so into the 20s. At that point, you may want to put the idea of a short on pause, just because it could be a nice little support bounce, right? So for now, I'm thinking short, but it also depends on how we move. If I can get a short before the open around that 10-15 area, great. If I've got to do it after the open, I'm going to wait to see and try to avoid any dip buys or anyone who's coming in with an aggressive buy program right at the open to kind of take an opportunity here as the market's down quite a bit, right? So I'm just going to wait a little bit and see if we can get a short again, like I said, above 10 into the 15s before the open. After the open, you got to put it on pause and see how this market reacts. But for now, we are down. I would argue that this could be an interesting area to be at, right? Around this 4,400 mark is quite an interesting area. We just came off of the 50 DMA, which was around that 35-40 area. So that's been rejected. We're kind of stuck between the 50 DMA and the 100 DMA, which puts us in a very tricky spot for day trading. But if there's going to be volume, it's going to be in between these two levels. So just keep an eye on this 4,400 mark and see how we trade at the open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's continue along here, guys. Under 30 minutes till the open. AMD on the list once again this morning. Pretty impressive move yesterday as we saw rallying off the early lows back to the upside. We are lower this morning, though, down 1.5%. The company said after market yesterday that they expect this global chip shortage to be wrapped up by next year. And some of the manufacturing that was supposed to come online this year will now be pushed to next year, but a little bit earlier than expected.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, possibly good news. We'll see what happens with it. Obviously, you basically down the exact same thing as the NASDAQ right now. So you're basically reacting to that news, reacting to the overnight move in the market. One thing I did get that Digital Brands both locates and took a short position. It rejected the break of that 45 level. I shorted it here at 74s in front of that current high of the day. But AMC, I think the simple thing is at 107 level, if we go back to the daily chart, I kind of glossed over it, this 107 level, we got the break in yesterday's action, of course, and then we're gapping right back down in front of it. So a lot of times, it's not that you throw out the trading above there, but you did on a pullback hold around this 107 again, maybe like 25 pennies or so down, you give it some room. So you're looking at that same potential break. If the market wants to make a bit of a bounce, I think Charlie already said he liked that 107 level. I would actually probably like it a little bit better if we actually had a bit of a test to the downside first. Like maybe if you came in, retested the lows, and then bounced off, showing some strength, similar to what happened in yesterday's action. I think that was a stronger move, like flush them out and get the scare and then break through 107. That's the way I'd be preferring to play something like an AMD here. If it does break out, I don't really have any obvious areas to the upside in terms of targets that don't involve just looking at yesterday's price action off the top. So you're going to want to concern yourself with that 108 area where it did hold at the high. That's exactly where it closed. So it gives you an obvious like $1 target range when you take the break. I mean, there are these dips that you had in the afternoon down to about the 60 to 75 range, 106.75 that is, that I think give you cover. So if you take a 107 break, that's where your stop can be simply put, just looking at the at yesterday's dip prices in the afternoon. So lots of ways that you can certainly be playing in that one in AMD. Although I'd rather catch a breakout if we get a dip a little bit lower. I want some people to get no, I shouldn't say that. It's not wanting people to get flushed out, but sometimes you want there to be pressure relieved as there's been building longs in the pre-market. I think you want some of those out of the way to get the momentum to the upside. And as soon as I take that DBGI, it looks like it's going to try and take the top off. So if it takes out this 93, I don't want to give it too much past, well, I'm not going to give it past $5, right? But if we turn around here at the high of the day, I'll take a few more shares. My stop is going to be at $5. If it breaks 5, it's got some room to run.
Yeah, up to $6 there for sure on DBGI. Here's Ford. I finally rebooted the computer here and we're back in the game. So there's Ford with a big bid imbalance. That's what we were talking about before, 1.26 million shares. Look, AMD, we've been... It's more of the same. It's like every day we keep saying the same thing over and over again, and it's just that I think you needed to buy this anytime near $100. 103. I know a lot of you pulled the trigger because you weren't going to wait for me to do it next week, and so I'm just going to hover around. I love this 107 break. We've talked about that over and over again on a 20-minute chart. I hope it works better than this daily chart here. So this has been 107 right there. It goes back as well. There's further levels there with 107. So I mean, even right here, these are the levels I'm talking about. So if you go back to basically I guess it's early September. So all the first week or two in September here, we bounced off 107. We just kept on bouncing. We dipped down to 100 on some of those flushes. And then now yesterday we break above, we go to 108.50. And now today we're getting a little bit of a gift on a pullback down into the 50 period moving average. So 105 is the 50 period. I'm not buying anything off the open, and if we're wrong on that one, but let's wait to see what does happen. We are still getting flushed. Well, we're starting to move back up 1.36%, but this is an interesting level again, like 107. We'll just keep on talking about that. I probably will touch 107 long on AMD, but we won't hammer it. If it does come back down and we can get long in and around here, 106, 106.20, something like that, then we will take AMD for a ride. Remember, just because the market is down, doesn't necessarily mean and that we like AMD. AMD could still get absolutely destroyed. If the NASDAQ starts making moves to the downside, AMD could flush, and it could flush bad. It could flush all the way back down here to 103, 104. That's why I'm saying very nerve-wracking right now as crypto's starting to go back up, bouncing off 2,900 here with Ethereum. Just noticing that right here, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Trying to hold off this 2,900, next stop 2,950, then back to 3,200. But there are some nervousness here in the market in general, obviously. So I'm just going to hold everything close. I don't think we'll get into position on AMD right away. We will take a 107 break, so that will happen, but it won't be a large position. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a dip buy back to 106 and change.
Okay, just checking on, Bitcoin too. It looked like was bouncing back up there. Let's go to Tesla. After yesterday's pretty impressive move, guys, we failed, however, to get to 800 yesterday. If you remember, Elon Musk, in an internal email, said this week will be the most intense delivery week in the company's history. He also said that the full FSD version of their self-driving software, 10.2, is coming out next Friday, which is ahead of schedule. Piper Sandler also with an upgrade here today on Tesla. I mean, when I sat down, this thing was 1.5%, so we're off the lows, definitely.
It's just like more relative strength in Tesla. Now, after what we saw at 800 yesterday, I think that move extended at least $10 past what I thought it was going to do in yesterday's action, given where the market was at. You know, certainly the rebound in much of the market certainly helped Tesla out in the afternoon. But I come in today and I keep thinking to myself, okay, well, 800's got to be resistance, but I'm looking a little bit lower than that. So you closed at 791. You had this, you know, and I can pop to the 1 minute maybe so you can see in yesterday. Oh, now I can't do that pullover, so we'll go back to the 15. That's kind of annoying. But we had this pullback in the afternoon, and then right in the close, you were testing this 788 level, and you can kind of see here that there was a cluster. And I had said 787 is a level I liked, and you looked up to 8890. So just beyond that was a cluster here on the way up before it made the move to 800, and then on the way down, it found some support at that level, and that's why I'm looking to shoot there for a short in front of that. And Tesla is seemingly obliging that outlook by making the push into that level. And that's why I'm no longer, when I came and sat down today, I kind of thought, okay, market falls off the open, short of 775 break on Tesla, get in and out. You can probably be in and out pretty quick of that one, grab your $5-10 really quickly. And now we're bouncing to the upside. So if I'm leaning to the direction of the short, that means in front of that, 88 to 90 area, we get that pop, $5 into the open. That's what I'm looking to take. I did add SNOA as well. So that just came in for me, is that has broken $9, getting some momentum to the downside, as that is another big time gapper, up 62%, but starting to trail off here.
Tesla, so yeah, yesterday was a big move. We talked about the big move as well in AMD, in NEO, a little bit bigger than this. But I mean, down to 768 again, you know, you could get that flush, and that's sort of what I'm a little bit nervous about here as we look to get some more value rather than growth right now with the 10-year move making moves. I think you can get this 780 break, but I don't really want to go short Tesla. I'd rather try to pick up some longs. So I mean, we could retake yesterday's close. I mean, it's a nice pullback into yesterday. So I think that's a good opportunity. And what is this level right here anyways? That's a good one. Yeah, 790. So I think a 790 long should be taken. So let's watch out for 790. Actually, I'll put the long in right now through 790. So I'm going to put that trade in right now. If we get ticked out or ticked up to 790, we'll take it. Still 20 minutes to go, but we'll watch Tesla. I don't think we'll get into it too early. The spread is fine right now. It's about 50 cents, so that's fine. Willing to do that, but Tesla through 790, I like it. Would rather play the momentum. I mean, you saw what happened yesterday. Once you start to break some levels, 780 goes right to 798 or so, 800 stopping and going at 798 right there. So for me, a 790 is a good trade, and we'll hold it back. Who knows where we'll hold it back until, but we'll see what levels develop. If we get up to 790, I'm not sure we get there, so not super excited about it, but if we do, I do like it on a break, and we'll see if there's some money coming in to rally Tesla back over 800, especially if this market turns green, then you're gonna get Tesla obviously above 800 bucks. So let's see what does happen right now. I like a 790 break on Tesla.
Yeah, speaking of the US 10-year, guys, I was just double checking here on a chart. It was March, we topped out. Way back when, you remember 177 was the high. This is a daily chart. So you can see we're back to 155, 153 right now. So definitely worth watching going over the next couple of days here for the US 10-year. We will continue along here. Let's go to ACB, one of the only notable earnings names after market yesterday. ACB out reporting as expected. Another loss to the downside. It wasn't actually as big as expected, but still a loss, guys.
No, and I want to say that I think we should watch out for ACB here and some of the marijuana names. When they get going, they get going. So you're going to be down that 2% today. They said that their loss was 135 million as opposed to billion something last time around. So ACB still not making any winners out of anybody holding their stock. as it's just still near lows. I mean, what are you supposed to do here? $6 coming into play there for Aurora Cannabis. So let's see. They did blame, it's not a huge amount of volume right now, so not really sure what's going on with that one. Let's go over to Tilray just to see if it's getting any feedback here from this. Yeah, same. So very, very little volume on some of these names. I like them because they can get going. So that's really just where I'm looking at it here on ACB. I want to see it start to take out some levels, including, I mean, yesterday's level of 650 basically is where we're going to try to go on ACB. So if we can get anything near 650 here, it's a 20-minute chart. We made a nice move there yesterday all the way up to 650 before fading back in. I'm not going to buy this on any dips because I really think the dip goes to zero. So any sort of momentum on the upside here, 650, I'm a buyer of ACB. And look, when they get going, they get going. I know they're heavily shorted. There's huge floats out for these names, so I don't think there's going to be any sort of a squeeze, but it's just watch out. People wait for earnings for these things to move. We always say that this is a good opportunity to look at cannabis names. You don't really want to trade them unless there's something, either federal or now we get earnings. So let's wait to see what happens here. I like a 650 break. We'll play it to the long side. This thing could run if it does happen. So we'll take 650 long on ACB and just think maybe some money comes into it today as they're getting closer and closer to becoming a green company on the balance sheet.
Yeah, I mean,
not balance sheet, on the income statement.
On the income statement, that's right. And there has been a bit of an iceberg at 25 here. And again, just it's not a huge level, but you're going to see something on the chart like this. Anytime you see the kind of a level of 25, you just can't seem to get past it. It's sort of obvious playing quarters here, 625, and 650. There might be, if there was volume, I'd be looking for an actionable trade breaking through 25, but I'll look for like a failed break kind of idea. Like if it breaks 50 and then can't get off its schneid, I'd come in for the reverse side of that trade. And if it breaks these lows, sort of sliding back over to my 15-minute, if we get a chance, and maybe today, tomorrow, maybe give it a day or two, if we're breaking these lows at any point from the last couple of sessions, that 590, that 585, I think those could be actionable to the downside. For today, I'd be looking for a fail break at 650 if it happens. I wouldn't be against anyone taking a 25 long on pure momentum, but I think you want to be covering at least some of that in front of 650. Volume is dictating to me that there's going to be better fish to fry, especially with digital brands coming out of nowhere. SNOA is moving. I like Moderna today. Looking at Tesla. I mean, there's a heck of a lot to get to. We haven't even mentioned CEI.
All right, let's talk about vaccine stocks because there's a couple of different news stories here this morning affecting some of these names. One of them coming from over in France as Sanofi. France's Sanofi has officially shelved their plans for an mRNA vaccine for COVID-19, just saying that there's already, multiple companies, as we're all aware of, doing this. So why continue putting money towards it? So there's that. Then BNTX and Pfizer going to submit data for 5 to 11-year-olds, saying in days, not weeks, to the FDA, looking for emergency use authorization. And Moderna, I saw, was a little bit higher this morning.
Yeah, Moderna. So we're going to talk about Moderna here just because part of Sanofi is like they're giving up because Moderna is too good. I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's not exactly what it is. I'm sort of being ridiculous when I say that. But at the same time, look, we talked about some of the short ideas we had. Unfortunately, I don't know. For some reason, every now and then, it's like our old positions are going to show up, and then sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So you can't really see why we like that 45 and that 50 area for those short trades. Now, if you go to the daily chart, I really do think, and look at this breakout at 60 to 65 in Moderna, and then you had that support at that level. Breaking the 50 period here, coming back in. If we're going to get some selling in this stock, I think it's going to head down towards that 60 to 65. So count me in on the day trade. I'll be sitting in front of the bid one of these days to be buying that stock. But it actually can't get there without being a short first. And the first thing I look at is this. It's a 398 pre-market high, but it's a 400 level that's going to concern me. And if we get a pop into 400, I want to be shorting into that move. So on the idea that there could be some momentum here, I think you have an obvious stop out at 400. If it does get any higher, I would probably sit it out until we get into this cluster here from the afternoon, like that 7, I guess, to 13 area. Just call it that. I mean, I know this is more like 12, but I try to give it an extra $1. So you get into that $5 range. I think that's a separate trade on Moderna altogether. But I want to be shorting any pop into that 400 first things first. Ooh, let's get over just very quickly here because DBGI is on the move a little bit. So rounded that short off. When it failed at $5, I took some more shares, but I'm going to cover. I've covered 20% of it back down into 470. Kind of feels reckless not to because that's the higher low it's trying to put in. I will definitely get on the bid in front of of 450s as well on digital brands, but that's now made that test of 5 several times here, and I do not want to look the gift horse in the mouth. If this thing does want to break out, I'll cover if it breaks 5. For now, going to sit here into this one with about 10 minutes to go until the open. I would not average into more shares. I hate doing it, never against the grain. In the last 5 to 10 minutes going into the open, you have what you have, is my opinion.
All right. Yeah, look, you just talked about Moderna there a little bit, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Pfizer. I mean, we are all the way to the downside right now on this name on a one-day chart. We are getting very, very close to possibly, buying this thing even at $40. So as some of this drops down, you do have this wick down there, $43. So Pfizer right now looking like it might be a problem spot here for that name. So we'll watch out for Pfizer coming through $42.94. So looking pretty good. You can see this is a 20-minute, just a momentum straight to the downside there. Moderna's a great stock. It's going to move a lot more than Pfizer, so that might be something to look at as well. But right now, Pfizer pretty weak on the daily chart, that's for sure. Oh, and there it is. There, didn't even realize it was a sell. So Pfizer with a sell as well. So look, I think you can short anything here, 43.50, something like that. So we're going to have Pfizer on the radar as well as Moderna today. So let's watch out for these vaccine names.
We got to talk about this. Camber Energy CEI has been quite the move over the past couple of weeks. This thing's gone from 40 cents now to $3 here in the pre-market, going back to, I mean, this was just the beginning of September, coming off a little bit here this morning, but 24 million shares already, 25, just ticked up 25 million in the pre-market, guys. Again, no news, very low float, highly shorted name though.
Yeah, it's been the squeeze. You have a couple of things at play here. I mean, you do have the natural gas shortage, and then you've got energy names being strong in general, and then you've got a short squeeze. And you add it up together, and CEI has been a banger. I think you can go back far enough. There you go. Yeah, you can go back far enough on the daily chart to see that you are getting into some levels where there could be some memory in this 3 to 3/4 range, and that's what we're going to be testing today. This is the biggest, yesterday I should say, was the biggest of the parabolic moves in terms of overall strength and how far we moved on CEI. And you would think that $3 would be a bit of a resistance. You can see a couple of times it's broken here today. I would just caution, even if it takes this level out, you do have that 325 looming. It feels like it's ripe and overdue for a bit of a pullback. Last time it gave you like 10 to 15%, 230 to about $2. I'd be looking to see if it does pop and give you like a short off of 3. Whether or not I want to be fighting this stock in addition to into shorting DBGI at the open and SNOA and looking for Moderna, it's a little bit much for me, but I do think you got to watch out. If you're long in this name and you have not taken any profit, you should be at least somewhat concerned with 3 and 325. No one ever went broke taking a profit. I'll be sitting this one out probably until it either relieves some pressure and breaks that 3 even and gets above it, and then you can look at that 325. But normally this would be a trade for me if I wasn't already in SNOA, which is starting to go, and that DBGI, and of course looking for some Moderna as well. So I don't want to be over trading too much in the pre-market, and that's why I might leave CEI out of my positions. But those are 2 obvious levels for this unbelievable long. This is a double up in a week into clear resistance levels on the daily chart. So, read into that what you will. There's plenty of liquidity, so day traders do love it though.
Yep, I'm going to take, we've done quite well on this name, so we'll watch CEI, but it is coming back to the downside right now, trying to build out some levels here. I do like a break of 305 for sure. I mean, even actually, we just call it 3 break, should be fine. So anything that's breaking 3 to the upside, we'll take that. You can see though it is starting to, on a 20-minute here, trying to come back in a little bit. So 3 definitely looks like resistance, right? So this could be a short. Actually, let's short it into 3, and then if it breaks 3, we go long. So it could be one of those names here that's a double loser. But I mean, I've talked about this over and over again. We started buying this thing the last couple of days down here, $1.70, $1.80, and I remember the push to 2, and then now we get it, and now we get it to 3. So look, Camber Energy continues to be one of those names that's on everybody's watch list. So I think with that being said, I think you can short this up here, 297, 298, something like that. See what happens at 3. Is there any size at 3? No, I mean, normally I'm going long. Yeah, we can't see it right now, but Normally we go long into this name, so I do have it ready to go at 303.05 here on that high, but I think a short is a little bit of a better play here into CEI, just to see if we do test that $3 once again on this big volume spike up to 305. So we'll wait to see what happens. That happened at 8 o'clock where some of the orders get online. So I don't know if we retest that, but we're going to test Camber Energy up here near $3.
All right, another little one to discuss this morning, guys. I mentioned a couple of times SNOA. You want to direct your attention to the daily chart. First off, there's been all kinds of tests. So that means 3, 4, 5, 6 different tests of 950 to 10. So, I mean, you can call it 975 to 10, but an area anyways between 950 to 975 all the way up to 10. To watch on this, we didn't even get there this morning. So this is 940-ish. Didn't even touch 950. So if we do get a pop into 950.10, going to be very interesting for SNOA. Another one with a relatively low float, but decent volume here so far.
Yeah, I like SNOA for a 950 break. It's like, again, old trades aren't really showing, so I can't show you the jailbreak that it had. It was a hard fail off of 13. If it ever got past that 950, I'm looking 11. I'm looking 13 as the key levels. 11 to 1140 actually, very, very specifically on SNOA. But I am already in the short. When this broke that and through the 9, the consolidation was right here at the 75 mark. So I'm going to take this one. I'm not going to average into it. Like I said, I don't like doing that. But the first thing that's going to likely come into, well, outside, I already have 2 stocks here, but the first thing it looks like it's going to come into play with about 5 minutes to go here does feel like it's going to be Tesla because, and this is exactly, it felt relatively strong yesterday, and you're getting a bit of a creep up into these levels. So I'm looking for that. It's that 88 to 90 area. Like that's where I want to be short in front. If 90 breaks, forget about it, and then wait for that 800 level. So look at the strength in Tesla. That's your daily chart right there. All kinds of relative strength for this name. And then as I mentioned, Moderna, the other one, just going back into the 1 minute here, the other one, even if it takes out that pre-market high, I'm looking in front of 400 on mRNA. I think that can be the level that I like there. And just a couple of other ones. People keep asking about like Naked Brands and Family, the penny stocks. I didn't see much of anything on Naked Brands, so I'll keep monitoring that one, but I don't really see any levels that I'm absolutely in love with, guys. So I might end up having to sit that one out. There is ALFI, which I know Brendan mentioned, at least I think Brendan mentioned earlier on in the show. That was another late mover. It came out in the pre-market with some volume here. Come on, there we go, flipping. It's already starting to come back to earth. When I pulled it up, I said, okay, 870 looked like a good level. It didn't get anywhere close to that. And now we've already fallen back a good 60 to 70 cents. So if it were to pop, maybe back into this consolidation in front of 8 even, then ALF would look pretty interesting. You could watch for an 8 break. I think that could maybe take you towards that high of the day. But for me, the move, at least some of it to the downside, the pullback has already sort of come in here. So ALF, it's on the radar, just might not get a trade at the open.
And guys, we'll fire off some hot dogs here. I tried to get options, but it was not option eligible there. But Bros, when Bros was at $55, we called it back to 48 by this week. Wow, that happened a lot quicker than we thought. Now to 46.80. So again, you know, that right there is a 20% move that we called last week. It was last week, Thursday or Friday, that we called this. What is $54, $55? I called it back down to 48 right here. Unfortunately, for anybody long, we are tanking even lower than that. So Bros continues to disappoint here off of a big, I mean, it's not disappointing. It depends where you got it. But up here was an easy call. Glad we made that. So there it is, Bros. So congratulations, anybody had that, because now you have a little bit more. Money. And that's not a bad thing at all. So if you're stuck long on Bros, we did talk about that break just by the action. And again, I'm not on it, so I didn't make any money on that play, that's for sure. But good call there. Hopefully some of you got out of the way. If I see things like that, I'm going to mention it, right? So, okay, ACB right now, looking at it, yeah, so it is above 25. I was waiting, guys, for this 50 level to break. Yesterday's high, so we're gonna in the aftermarket. We'll wait to see if 650 breaks. Let's just make sure that was the high yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, so right there. So 650. We're going to go long on ACB on a break of that. That's for sure. I've already got that locked and loaded. We'll be watching a few other things today. NVIDIA's on the up and up as well. That CEI, Tesla, Ford. Let's check in Ford right now. Also Lucid making moves. Here, hold on a second. Ford.
Oh, yeah, we forgot Lucid.
Yeah, Lucid making some moves there. We just got into something right now. We just got into AMD breaking above that 107. So again, this is a light position. I mean, it'll still be nice. If and when we win, then that'll be great. We'll take that. But for right now, AMD, we just take that. It was a very, very light trade. Was actually not really expecting to get into this. We will average down on this one. We have to. So we'll wait to see where AMD goes. If the market rallies, man, this is going to be $1. So we'll take some out at 108, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I like AMD to the long side. And then let's just check out Ford quick here, because I do expect it to pull back a little bit. As I just looked, man, this is the number 5 position now on my long-term account. So really happy with the way Ford's going. We'll see where it goes from here. What's up, Brendan?
Another one moving here, guys. Hyzon Motors, HYZN. Down here, it looks like something called Orca Capital says they're short this one. So HYZN, recent addition here, down 12%.
And sort of quickly, while we're talking about some EV names, Lucid here, just want to mention Lucid. Support on double bottom here at 24.40, a higher low support at 25.5, so $1 higher than that. I'm on the bid to buy the dip in front of that 25.50 area right now. If it already broke 26 even, but I don't see actionable level there. We're well a ways away from the double top at 28, let alone that 27. So I want to be buying the dip as this one looks relatively strong. We'll add that HYZN to the list. Short seller reports, those can get a little bit finicky. But we got to play the price. Look, momentum is momentum, and momentum is continuously to the upside. Moderna just spiked, and I don't like Moderna at 929, so I'm not in the short in front of 400. I have to wait for the open there. And Tesla right at that 787 mark. These could come in rather quickly. You might have been able to notice that Randy was behind us, and he's going to be ringing the bell today. So he's got the mallet going. 100% chance he will ring the bell louder than Trader Prad did the other day, because that was one of the weakest bell rings I've ever heard in my entire life. So cover your ears, get ready to go. Tesla, again, threatening to get positive. You're watching Moderna move to the upside as well. Going to be fading both those. At least that's the plan. As we drop the countdown on this Tuesday, let's get this party started in 7, 6, 5, 4. Randy, hit him. 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, we're ready to rock and roll here. Thank you, Mr. Randy, for that one for sure. Okay, yes. All right, so AMD starting to go here. We're going to watch Tesla through 790. Hopefully that goes. There goes AMD, a nice little 20-cent win. So far, so good on AMD, but we have 108 in our sights right now, so we'll see what happens here with AMD. All aboard the AMD train now. 50 cents in the money right here, so that's a good one. Start off the day right here with AMD. Go!
Yeah, and immediately we're going to get a bit of a flush on that SNOA, but it's going to be Tesla. I mean, Moderna breaking 400. I want to see it battle that level first, but we're already seeing Tesla get towards that 790 area. So this is where we wanted. I'll see if I can pick some shares. If I don't want to be chasing, still on sort of on the 15-minute chart there. So there's that spike. It goes right into that target range, and we just got some shares here right at 88.5. So if it breaks 790, I'll give it maybe to the quarters or so, and then just give it some room in front of the top. But got one of those two trades, not the other. As far as SNOA goes, this one's starting to flush already. Took some out in front of 840. I'm shooting for 825 and 8 even as some targets to the downside on SNOA.
So CEI, we're still waiting for that fill to come through. We're going to get out of AMD at 50 if we can. Right now, it's starting to go right there. Did I not get that? Oh, my God. I was at, oh, no, I canceled it. Okay, I was at 50, I thought. We didn't get it, but now it's starting to rip up to a little bit of higher move here for AMD. Here we go now. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Backflips right now on AMD up nicely. We talked about a 107 bid. We didn't have much on our sticky note today, but it's about quality, not quantity. AMD with the ripper there, 60 cents in the money, a name that I know a lot of you love. So here we go on AMD, and there goes Tesla taking out the top as well. Long Tesla, long AMD.
Yeah, I'm out of my Tesla. We'll get away from that one very, very quickly. DBGI just spiked up to 485, check that, and then right back down to 450. So the sellers came in hard when this tried to go into the upside. I still hold about 40% of the position. Want to make sure we hang on to that one. CEI, I know you guys are looking at Camber. Camber Energy actually came down to 77, then spiked back up to 95. So 3 is continual resistance on Camber Energy. Looks like that's going to be weak for the rest of the day as well. Gonna want to make sure we're watching out for that SNOA, but it continues to absolutely flush. As far as Lucid goes, Got that one in at the last minute, looking for a dip buy. Lucid breaks to the upside. So once again, it goes straight up. There is no dip. I'll have to look at that 26 on a bit of a pullback, maybe even 25.90. I don't want to miss this train. Let's see if we can't get the dip buy, but not as deep as we were anticipating, guys.
So we're going to have Tesla all the way back to 785. Like I said, man, you got to give this one a little bit of room. We'll see where we go with here on Tesla. There goes ACB, man. Again, another name that we had on our watch list, the cannabis name. So we'll see there. Straight moonshot right there to the upside on ACB. So let's see if that continues to rock and roll for us. AMD, we did get our 50 right there. So 107.50. That's a 50-cent winner. We're only 1 for 1 right now. Tesla, yeah, big move to the upside, 790. It only goes as high as 791.50 or so. So let's hold on to Tesla, see if the market can go here. I am nervous, obviously, about the stock market today. So, yeah, leading me to be a little bit cautious here as there goes a nice little move here on ACB, 656, and still making moves to the upside, 56, 57, 58. Let's keep on going. What a good day so far for us. Let's throw it over to Brendan.
There was this news on this Altimmune this morning as well in the pre-market, guys. They had negative results on one of their recent trials. So popping back to the upside here, you can see monster volume at the open, but higher so far, still down 25% for Alt.
And we said we short a pop if ALF got into the upside. Now it popped about 30 or 40 pennies, so I'm starting to look at it in the quarter range if I can pick up some shares there. I will tell you, Digital Brand is continuing to absolutely flush. Whoops, I knew I'd make that mistake. It's DBGI, Neil. It continues to flush. It just hit that 450 again, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this bid. Don't necessarily need it. Once we break 450, I think we're headed right back down into that $4 range. So this one looks like it's going to be a weak one. I just got ALF shares at 74. SNOA is absolutely flushing as well. That's at 825 now. We shorted 875 a couple of times there. It looks like I didn't have the patience enough in Tesla, and this is actually annoying for me because I stop out at the high, and it's not Tesla that bothers me. It's not managing to get myself into Moderna when it failed at 400, right? So I got a little bit distracted there. Again, probably too many symbols. Was already into 3 in the pre-market, made it hard to take more than one of Tesla or Moderna. Moderna pops, gets right back into that 400 range to the downside. Now you're looking at 395. If it gives me a second chance, I will take that second chance, but I'm not sure I'm going to get it. Moderna may have come and gone.
And there it goes, man. Spin it for ACB. A good trade here. We talked about taking this trade through. So here we go on ACB. A nice little win for us to go on this one. A nice, I mean, again, 15 cents right there. Just took a 64 bid on ACB. So AMD has been also really good for us. But we got out there. Now we're starting to get ready to reload this name again on the downside. So we do have some bids down here, right around here, 106 and change. We'll see if we can average in on this one. Tesla's still doing absolutely nothing. Hopefully we have this, but look at the NASDAQ coming to the downside. So that's making me a little bit nervous here for our Tesla position. But here we go. Nicely into the money now. $2 in the money, $3 in the money. This is what we're talking about. Let's go, Tesla. Hopefully this one can moon for us. We have Tesla, CEI, AMD, and ACB. 2 short, 1 short, 3 longs here today, making me nervous.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, Mrna, you're going to kill me. Moderna now at 393. It looks like it's continuing to head to the downside. Look, I'm going to kick any bounce that we can get and go into the short on this position. I should have had both of these two. I did not. I only took the one. That's going to be that Tesla. You're going to see a continual fall here in that DBGI, but it's Alphi, which is getting off its butt a little bit, and we liked it up until We liked it up into that 8 range. I took some shares in at 75. Now it's making another spike, and this is it testing 790 to 8 even, and you just saw a bit of a turn. Now, I like it on the way down, usually after rejecting a level as opposed to on the way up. So I'm going to pick up some more shares here in front of that 8 even on Alphi and see if we can't get this one to continue to run. DBGI, if it breaks, well, okay, forget of it. I was about to say if it breaks at 440, I'll look to get some shares out in front of the quarter. It had already broken 440, so just going to make sure I have some bids out on digital brands in front of 425. This has been the best one for me. Moderna, of course, is going to be the kick in the proverbial junk, as they do say. I don't know if you mentioned already, Sean, Ford here. There was a dip into 440, but essentially not doing a heck of a lot. We're holding up at 450, no test of 15 even, for even the possibility of shorting in front of 15. So not too much to see here with Ford, although I do think it's going to have some moves.
Yeah, right now we're trying to massage some of these positions here. Tesla, nice move to the upside. I wonder if we should just cash this out, man. We're $3 in the money here on Tesla, but we're waiting at 793.50. So hopefully that can go. I mean, look at the market right now, trying to battle to the backside now. So if we can kick out a little bit for a $4 winner, we'll do that right now, as this is a big trade for me. So let's go. Come on, fill this up right now. 790.50, 794.50. If we could take $4 on Tesla, we shall do it. There it is. Where's my, oh my God. We just missed it there by, wow. We missed there by, I think, a penny or so on Tesla. That's unbelievable that we just missed that, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll get that. It's coming back up to 793.50, hopefully very soon. CEI, man, we took that average, and here we go on CEI. Hopefully we can get out of this one for a little bit of money right now, as it's starting to come back down to the downside. So here comes CEI. Bang on CEI. There we go, guys. A big win to the short side on this one. And come on, Tesla, just fill it. We need one more push on Tesla, and we'll get filled. We are waiting at 794.50, so hopefully that can come through right now. One more push to the upside, and we'll take $4 on this one. We're making just as much money on CEI because of the share size, and now it's rocking and rolling, man. Big day alert here over on this side. Thank you so much, Ms. V. And the day just got a hell of a lot better. Thank you, Ms. V.
Yeah, we just got the reload. So at this point, I'm only holding 30% of digital brands. Like you said, like off of a $5 retracement, like what do you expect? Do you expect $4? That's a 25% return. That's why I want to be almost flat if it gets to that 425 level. And very similarly, SNOA, this is starting to not barcode, starting to base out is a word I should use at $8. I want $8 to break. I did take something out at $8.26. We got the 50-cent winner on the second third of it. I want to hold through an $8 move. I want to be adding to this position if it gets back up to $8.60, $8.70 or so. There has been no bounce in Moderna, by the way, so there's not a heck of a lot to see there. I would like to get an opportunity at it, but if it doesn't want to give it to me, then it's not going to happen. I mentioned Alibaba, and we talked very briefly about the positive news Alibaba had. There we go. You rejected 153. Now you're headed back down. I don't know if it can withstand the market coming in. 154 was a big level on BABA. I thought maybe we would test that and be a short, but BABA now falling like an absolute rock, $2. The only way into this, at least I think, is going to be to short it in front of the pre-market lows here at 152. But so much for that BABA story. A little bit short-lived. Now the market starting to weigh in on this name as well.
Yep, the market's starting to weigh in a lot. We did actually take out right there at 793.50, so we did take some out at 793.50. We missed this 794.50 by, I think, a penny or two, which is crazy. So I just fed up with it. We sacrificed $1 on that, but now we'll hold out for a higher high here on Tesla, looking at 800 coming through here. So we'll wait for that. If it comes back below 790, right there, the VWAP, we're going to get out. We're not going to hold this one for very long. So Tesla will come out if it does, happen to break below that level. So that's 790. We'll just take it out 789. I don't know, what 789.50 or so we'll get out. So we'll just make sure that we're putting this order in right now for us. 789.50 we'll get out of Tesla, make sure that we put the winner in our pocket. Okay, AMD. AMD's at a spot now where we could obviously be buying back in. We are a little bit nervous on this dip, so we'll take small here. Ooh, we just tried to buy, oops, was that AMD? Sorry, wrong screen. We just did try, there it is. Okay, so I was just gonna say we tried to buy AMD and we got it. So right there, 106.15, looking on an average in for that one. And then right now, yeah, Aurora, still trying to go us to some new highs. We will get some more out right now. We're out of 30% of ACB. Let's get out of a little bit more. Like I always try to fade these marijuana names. I thought we'd go a little bit more than this, but let's see where we are going from here on ACB. Kill them with kindness, Brendan.
CHPT, guys, just popping up here. Not a huge move, but 1.8% right out of the gate. But volume, the story. Decent volume here, held 20 in the pre-market there and then just ripped right through to 21. So just checking on charge point.
Yeah, we know charge points can be a mover. HYZN, which Brendan, you also mentioned there. Of course, this was the short seller report. It caught a bit of a bid off the open and got back up to 820, 830 with one wick up to 840. I think that's going to be not necessarily a line in the sand, but I think that's going to be some resistance at this level. So 825, we waited for the volume at the open to come in and have it settle down just a little bit, and now we can try to take advantage of it. Alphi, which I did get more shares of here in the 90 range, keeps on threatening this 8 level, but you're gonna see like it pops, and it's popped through $8 like and gone 2 or 3 cents each time. It hasn't really been able to go past an 805. It does feel if 805 breaks, we're testing the high of the day. So for me, I might as well just get out at that price, note the strength in this name, and not fight it too hard. I like the 2 shorts that were in a little bit better than that, so that's me. Didn't have to do anything with the keys. That was my stop order getting me automatically out. I'll look back to this one in the 825, 830 range, but it looks like that SNOA is going to be the bigger one. And Moderna, like we said, this was probably the missed opportunity. I couldn't have had two of these at the same time. Moderna now down at 390, so I'm a buyer at 360, 365. I don't think we get there today, but I also thought we're about to give me another opportunity to get in at like 95 to 97. This continues to flush. I am going to wait patiently for a pop. There usually is a bit of a relief in Moderna at some point, giving you a second entry into a short position. That's what we'll have to wait for here.
All right, we're not waiting for much. We're going to get out of ACB right now, and then Tesla's electrifying our net right now, up $5. Just takes out up to 796 right now on this bid. And considering what the market's doing, we're pretty darn happy with Tesla right now. If the market would have ripped up, we could have had a monster win. It's still my #1 stock. That and CEI right now rocking and rolling, man. We talked about that fade through $4 or $3. Sorry, that was a great short there, 95s. Now we'll see where we go from there. But debating on this Tesla, we have some levels. Again, we don't want to be holding this for forever, but it's a nice move to the upside. So we're still going to give it back to flat on here. We've already cashed out the $3 on 2/3 of the position. Now we have 1/3 left. So we're going to see if it can rip up to that level right there. We did also cash out a little bit. We reloaded to at 106.15 there, and we got out at 106.40. So now AMD is starting to fall back to the downside. No real, this is a 20-minute chart. Nothing really of so much concern here for me on this name, but again, looking like it wants to come to the downside right now is AMD. So I'm looking at 105.50 as a possible kill area for that name. 105.50 on AMD, guys.
So this is one from the last couple of days, and I promised myself I wouldn't ignore the stock at this level. And DATS is once again testing 12 to 12.25 here. You did see yesterday's action. It got to 45 with a bit of a break at the quarters. The lower high from the day before was at 12.20. We're right at 12.20. This one is going to be not missed by me today. If it breaks 12.50, fair enough, but I'm shorting in front of that level. Brendo.
Weakness in some of the Chinese names, obvious reasons here. Here's another one, PDD. Yeah, almost 5%. Just made a day low there on a big volume spike down to 91, guys. So not seeing any news on PDD specifically, but some Chinese names weakness.
Okay, so CEI was rocking and rolling, and all of a sudden it just jacked right up there on a beautiful move. That's a one-day move. Where's the 1 minute chart? There it is. Look at this. Just spiked it up there. So we actually did wind up getting out and a little bit long now on CEI as this name is going nuts right now. It was just cruising down there at 90s. We were able to get some out. Then we punched a little bit long here on this move to the upside. So let's wait to see what happens with CEI. It's going insane right now. Tons of volume coming in on CEI on this bid. Big green candle just hitting CEI long. So we're long CEI. Let's see where we go on this one. Wow, big move there. Was not expecting that. Good thing we did cash some out, but now we're long. Let's see if we can't turn this frown upside down.
You flashed the daily chart, and I literally freaked out on that. thinking that's what
it moved?
I thought that was what the minute chart was when you showed that to me a quick second.
Well, it's close.
So it is pretty close. 325 was a big level on the daily chart on CEI, so I'm shooting for that as the next level up. Before we go back to Brendan, very quickly, SoFi making a move. It tried to break the high of the day. It's now flushing into 17. 17 a good support level. I want to be buying that dip. Lots coming into play sooner than I anticipated. Brendo, what you got for us now?
So it was AUCB guys with earnings, but just saw this one, CGC popping up on volume. So just took out day highs there for CGC on volume. If I flip over here, you can see ACB on more, but not really doing anything, just kind of hanging out.
So we're averaging into AMD like we thought, and there comes our Tesla's out right there, like just as fast as CEI goes up. Tesla comes right back down. Tesla's still #1 stock for me today. Good profit spot. We got out for flat in there, out the last third in 2/3. So 2/3 for $4, and then 1/3 for $1. It looks like about on a hit on that one. So starting to rock and roll there. The CEI, man, it really spiked up there like crazy and not really going. So let's see. Let's give this another chance. I'm still offering 08s right now. I'm sorry, not 08s, 11s. I'm in at 08s, so we'll see where we go. I mean, the one-day range, we're off on CEI right now. These are new highs. This is making me a little bit nervous where we are right here. So I think about probably just tapping out a little bit on CEI because there's not much follow-through happening right now on the 1 minute chart. So yeah, this could be in a problem. It's having a problem getting past 07. Let's just lighten up just a little bit, and then if it runs, it runs. We're still here. Good thing we took a little bit of profit on that one, but we did think that the short was better than this. It's hanging out up here 306.
So I will look. I'll hit this, and and you're right, Carlos Gomez. I am still an SNOA, and it's never my intention to ignore some of these rollover shorts. It's just, look, it's working in the money. I'll come back to it when there's a decision to be made usually, but there wasn't a decision. I already took some out in front of 8 even, and it didn't give me an entry point shorting again in the 60 to 70 range. So at this point, I'll just wait for it to test 750. If it breaks that, I'll use that momentum to try and cover. This one working nicely in the money. It won't be my top. DBGI so far looks like that's going to be the one as Digital Brands continues its flush. I just got some shares out at 4.30 in front of that 4.25. Got another bid in front of $4. I think maybe this is where it could hold up. And I might have got into SoFi a little bit earlier. Like, I like that 17 level. I saw it at that pre-market, not really the low, because I know it traded at 17 really, really early. But this is SoFi in the last couple of days. Breakout at 17, support at 17, going into last week on Thursday. Support yesterday around 17. It did wick below that. So I want to be a buyer of this dip on SoFi. See if it can't hold out this 17 area. Should be a good one. I don't know if I'm going to get into Moderna, guys. It's just one of those. Then you have to have some rules, I suppose. But blindly getting into the short, ignoring how many positions I was in and being able to manage it, it would have worked out.
Oh.
It's basing out at the bottom now at 88. If it's going to make a move back up to be able to short the pop, I got to feel this is going to be it. So I am ready to see it retest at least halfway back to that 400 because I'm not sure we see that again.
Wow, holy shnikes, man. Good thing we went from bear to bulls. We'll ride the bear here, and then we'll send the bulls kicking here on CEI. We just got some out at 320, guys. It's crazy because if I review this today, and I spilled coffee on this, but if you review this, AMD long was okay early. We'll talk about buying some Ford dips, and then we talked about going long CEI at 305. Problem is we got cute with the short, but we were able to make some money on the short, but then blew us out on the upside. But then we went long, actually more shares than we were short there. So we went long, doubled our position on the long. Now we're making some money. That's why we were a little bit nervous there, and we got out at 06 off an 08 long. So that was 2 penny hit. We make that 2 pennies back, and now we're cruising with some profits to said upside. Okay, we've been emptying out of ACB. I know you talked about CGC there, Brendan. I love CGC, but right now ACB, we're going to wait to see where that one goes because we've just been averaging or getting out of it. We're out of 60% now. Doesn't look like it wants to take out to 660. I'm always nervous holding these cannabis names to the long side. Wow, 17 cents now in the money on CEI. So, you go in here and you take a dime hit, but now you're in the money 17 cents on the reversal to the long side. So everything all good right now. The only real worry, again, we got out of Tesla. That was a great out for sure for me on that one. And then we're just a little bit nervous about AMD. I thought I put an offer to get out here. Yeah, a 105 break on this name, man. We're going to be gone. This is giving me a great opportunity to buy this stock.
104.50 was a big level yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm a little bit too invested to wait for that long, but we'll wait. Yeah, 104.50 is right there. 105 break, though, to me is a little bit too much of a move downside. So we'll get out if that does happen. But yeah, excited. So far, so good here today. It's been a big trading day.
Yeah, it absolutely has been. Like, this is one of the reasons I tell you guys a lot of times, it's not about digging into the short and then not having it out. You have to have one. Alpha, I like 2 levels. I shorted in front of that 8. It broke. Then I said, why hold on to the trade another 25, 30 cents to the high of the day? Wait for it to actually go up, test the high, come down a little bit, and now I've got the short in front. So this is 2 separate trades. Second time to an alpha. Like, yeah, it exposes you to that if it flushes, you can get a win, but I'm not going to sit there averaging in the entire way. Brendo's got another name for us.
I believe it was Scott H. was talking about Thermo Fisher, guys. TMO. There's nothing significant that I can see, but I can show you a couple of the latest headlines here. Thermo Fisher acquiring this Combinati, smaller medical company. And then on this side, they're working on this Spacey Max specialized saliva collection kit for multiple purposes, not necessarily COVID-19 related, but they did launch that as well. But great looking daily chart, little extended, probably 2 days to the downside warranted, guys.
Yes, sir, and one that just continues to fall. And at some point, I got to start thinking about either a trailing stop or, I mean, I have my target in front of 725 here on SNOA, and if we get there, you can get it like $1.50 on. I'll be perfectly happy with this trade for sure, but I don't want this to get too far away from me. Once we broken 750 and you're into the bottom end of this range where the retail came in and supported it at 7 o'clock, that's when you got to start thinking about locking in a little bit more of the profit. I just got another one in here. Remember I said I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to miss out on DATS if it tests that high. So DATS just came right back in. This is almost a triple top. This is the 3rd time we're testing this quarters to 50 area. So I got my short right at the quarters. I'm giving it to the 50. It's very binary at this point. I'll get some out in front of 12 even. I'll get some out in front of 11.75. But DATS, 3 times it's tested this level. Does that make it a breakout at 1250? I think there's a decent chance you could be looking for a 1250 break. I don't usually reverse on these trades, but that is one that I would reverse. If I get out of this 25 short, I would reverse it on a long in 1250 just because of how good this level looks in the last 3 sessions.
Yep, good call there on DATS, and yeah, let's just keep on going here with some of the calls that we're making as well. Okay, CEI, good load up there, I think, on CEI. So we'll see if it continues to the downside here on that name, or sorry, to the upside. We're trying to get some more and more out on CEI, obviously, as we get ready to rock and roll here. So another out. We just took one at 23. So we're long right now, CEI 08s, and it's starting to make moves. So really happy with the way that one's pairing out right here on CEI. So let's just continue to watch that, see where we go from here. AMD, so yeah, screw you, AMD, that's for sure. But we did take it out early for 50 cents. Now we're holding 20 cents against us. So, well worth it here, but let's just see, like we said, is it going to make that move back? I mean, we took right there 50 cents. We're in more shares now because we've averaged down. So this one needs to go in order for us to win anything on this name. So we're going to watch out right now for this. Going to the upside here. Hopefully AMD bounces off 105. We just got that retracement back downside there. So I like the trade. Let's see if we go. It needs to break these levels though. Like we're bouncing off right there, 105.60. It needs to go. Will the futures go? We've been calling a bear, not bear market. We've been calling this move for a while, and it sucks that I'm caught short, but I do like AMD. It does fall back down in. I think this is a good buying opportunity where I'm only going to give this to 105. If it cracks, it cracks. The NASDAQ not helping out anybody right now as it's making moves to the downside. So be very, very careful there. If the NASDAQ rebounds, I think we got a good winner on AMD. So if you're not in it, I don't think this is a horrible spot to try, especially with the 105 out.
Yes, sir. You can do it if you try. I don't know why that song came to my head. Wow. Anyways, SoFi, we did, like I said, I might have bought too early on SoFi at that 25 mark and should have waited for closer to that 17 support. But we got a great out in front of, again, quarters and 50s. Yeah, we take some out in front of that 50 level at 45. I'm going to be on the bid in the teens to try and reload this trade if I can on SoFi. So that worked. And one of the reasons why, I know randomly I came to DATS when it first tested up past 12 even, and you're like, why is he mentioning DATS? And we didn't talk about this. It wasn't on the watch list. It was because I didn't want to miss out on it. So I had my offer in at that quarter so that when it spiked, I was ready to go. Got some out in front of 12. Like I said, going to get some out in front of that 11.75 as well, and then see if we can't get this one to the downside. This is all about how many times we've been looking at this stock and not always catching the trade to. We get a level like this, I'm not going to miss it. I wanted to make sure we got that one to you here. I still think if it holds up above 1150, the 1250 break is going to be in play, whether or not it's for us or for memes and movers with Ms. V and Trader Prad later. Ms. V?
Yep.
Hey Neil, Palantir is down more than 4%. Do you guys see any opportunities for yourself in PLTR?
Hey Neil, Palantir. I feel like it should be an automatic no. It's not that I can't talk about Palantir. I trade Palantir like once a month, relatively speaking. But wow, this is actually pretty outsized here. Sean, Palantir's back at testing this 25, 26 area here, so that gets pretty interesting. Although already, Brendan, you got something?
United Natural Foods just popping up here, guys. UNFI looks like they reported but missed expectations. Their, however, forecast was way above expectations. So have a look at this chart so far. 39 up to 45, 52-week highs here for UNFI.
Too many of these. So what we were getting into just quickly here, Palantir moving down to that 26 level.
Yeah.
And I say 26 because double bottoms last week at that price. Oh my goodness. I only have one long and it's SoFi, and I don't usually trade Palantir, but give me a break. I mean, Palantir in front of 26 with a level like that, and it's starting to slow down. And 15 cents worth of risk. I'll join the bid at 15. I'll join the bid at 05. And if 26 breaks, I'll just sort of run to the hills there. That's even going to be interesting to me in Palantir.
Yep. Oh yeah. So we're in Palantir right now. So yeah, we just got in it right now. So hopefully a good call on that one. We'll see. We're long at 15 right now. The out is obvious down there. So we'll wait to see. The only reason why we're not really in Palantir already is just because of the negativity that I have towards this market. So we are getting really close right now here. CEI, first of all, it's starting to fall back down. We're almost out of this trade, like literally flat on it. So hopefully that continues to be a good one there for many of you on CEI. Okay, but right now we are looking here, AMD trying to battle right now. So let's go, baby. We did take another average in right there. So 105.60, we did call this one for a lot of you traders, hopefully looking at this with us. 106.50, or sorry, 105.60 is our average price right now on that. So it just did spike up to us into the money there, but we didn't take it out. So hopefully this can continue to run and we'll see what happens there. There goes Palantir. That's a nice one. I don't know about having diamond hands today on this name, but here it goes, man. Thank you, viewers, for that one. 26.15 upside right there. There's a dime. So we'll just go a little bit of a whiz action right now as we'll take some out on Palantir. Nicely moved to the upside. There's an out on 26. So, hey, I mean, considering the kind of damage that's been done today to the market, and then we're holding some of these longs, so far so good, man. We're actually doing quite well. We got out of the way on Tesla, which was a huge getting out of the way on that one, man. $4 winner, $1 loser. We'll take that every time. That's how you got to manage risk. And then there goes Palantir. We just took some out at 26.
And this SNOA just tried to make a bounce here off of 760. It goes right towards this 8 even, nowhere even close for a reload. But if we come back in and hold 750, I will duck out of this trade and just walk away, sort of bank that profit that we already have on it. The only short, and again, I'm not going to go over DATS and DBGI because they're working really well. I want to go over to ALF, which is going against me, right? Because that's when the decision is coming. Mine is simple. If it breaks the high of the day, I'm going to be out of ALF. We're not going to fight this one a second time through, not with a million other shorts that are working out for you if you've got them on here. I'm kind of holding out for a break of 25 on Palantir, see if we can't get something out in the 35 range. We'll see what happens, but I'm on the offer in front of that. It's Alphi that looks pretty interesting as it could take out high of day, and then we'll have to take the hit there. Digital brands, that's been just absolutely fine, so we'll hang on to that short. I see no reason to cover many of these short positions. And then the other long that I have so far, I'm on the bid here in front of those teens to see if I can't buy the dip. It's consolidating even higher than that, so that one's showing not relative strength, but it's already made one bounce. Of course, I'm kind of thinking I'd like it to make two because we're still holding on to that long position. Obviously, that goes without saying.
And oh, hell yeah to AMD with a nice little bounce back to the upside there. And we're just watching the futures here, and we're going to see what that does as that's starting to go. We just took some out at 67 there on AMD, putting that trade. Oh, man, I mean, this was a little bit of a tough one there, needless to say. As there it goes. Yes, sir, let's go AMD. I'm waiting at 79, no? Bang! Yes, sir. Thank you so much, AMD. Come out. Oh, there it is. Coming out of the mouth right there as we get some nice wins there on AMD. Wow. Lucky, like in there, out there, in there, out there, in there, out there for AMD as that's still starting to go as well. Palantir out a couple times there for a dime piece on that one. I know all you love those dimes. And then now we go to the upside here on CEI. Let's see if it can hold out right now. So, yeah, man, we're perfect today. We don't have anything wrong right now yet today. So we're going to go ACB, AMD, CEI, Palantir, all to the profit side right now. Let's see where CEI goes. And but we do have Brendan, it looks like, at the big screen here with, what is this segment called again? Happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a quick look here at North American markets. Still quite red right across the board. Some positivity coming back in, but 1.5% here. You can see from the NASDAQ, both the composite and the 100 leading. S&P 500, 1% as well. The Dow, 0.7. So not much of a bounce. Same story down here in Toronto. We are down 1% for the TSX. Few things we were looking at. If you joined us early this morning, come and join us every day at 8:30. Pfizer here, 1.7%. Made a low down there at 42.5. Trying to bounce here for Pfizer. I'll shift over to another vaccine name. Yeah, BNTX, 7.8%, straight to the southbound side on huge volume as well for BioNTech. Guys, back to you.
So I'm now going to be all out of one of these trades, and it's going to be digital brands. Digital brands just actually broke very, very briefly that $4 range. So we shorted it in front of 5. We got a bunch of shares out in front of 450. We did hold on to 30% of it to get some out in front of 20s, in front of 10s, and then in front of $4. So this comes all the way to the bottom as far as, well, I'm not saying it's the bottom. This was a $3 close yesterday, so up to 5, halfway down to 4. That's going to be my area of concern. If it can bounce off 4 here, maybe it's worth a reload in front of VWAP, but sometimes you just have to take the profit and not look a gift horse in the mouth, guys, and that's been a good one there. I'm trying not to do the same thing On DATS, I took a second leg out, like I said, in front of 75s. If it gets anywhere close to this 1130 to 1135 area, that'll be the final out there. And this is one of the reasons I didn't fight Alpha. Like, we got in, we got out of that one, because SNOA working, DATS working, and then holding on to digital brands at least up until the last couple of minutes. And speaking of SNOA, it tried to get up to that 8, just absolutely flushed back through 750. I got a bid in front of 7 even. If it barcodes in front of the quarters, I might pull this 7 bid. This was a 535 stock. You might have more room to go and think about the trail here. So I'm going to go ahead and not just sit on the bid. Give this one some more room. As long as it's working, I don't want to fight it too hard. Like I said, we just got into that Palantir, and I would buy more shares in front of that 26. Tries to get to 25. Now we're testing 26 even. If this breaks, I'll be one and done on Palantir. I just loved that level from a couple of days ago, but this is not one I want to fight. Not with the market threatening down 2%. So I just canceled one of my bids on a short, and I'm going to maintain my tight stop on Palantir. No area stop here for me. That's an automatic out. I'm going to walk away from that short opportunity, walk away from that long, and then not try to fight this market too hard, guys. SoFi, I'm still in. That's working and holding its support level as well. So holding both of my shorts, DATS and SNOA, and then bailing on these longs.
Yeah, the market flushing like crazy right now, so we got out of our Palantir too, and good thing because we took profits, man, like 25s, 26s there. You know how we scalp Palantir, so that gives us the opportunity to be long at 08 when this broke, so our 08 long out at 92 will put us red on Palantir as well. Okay, so there it is, man. We're holding a very, very small piece, but there's the break as discussed on our friendly giant here. That is AMD. The break happens there, and we got out. So now we're holding a small piece. We're heading up to that 104.50, but look at the market. This is exactly the kind of stuff that we were expecting, to be honest with you. In this market today was a flush. We talked about that, and it's crazy that I'm not short. That's all. So, you know, we'll have to find some shorts for sure in this market, and when we do, I think we'll be cash money. So let's just look for some shorts and then get them, because right now we are breaking. We talked about Apple has to hold that 142. So right now it's 144. I actually thought Apple would be a lot worse than this. Apple's actually doing well, holding up quite well here. So that's a surprise to me, to be honest with you here, as Apple only down 0.85 right now. What is sparking all of this? Microsoft only 288. That's not bad. We recently sold Microsoft 296. We recently sold Apple 152. So we're looking for room to get back into these spots. I mean, Facebook, it's Microsoft is down 2%. Facebook also probably down, 343. Back to those levels of concern again for Facebook. AMD's at the downside, Nvidia's at the downside. I can't say we weren't expecting this, because we were. I just hope a lot of you got into cash. Like I've been saying, I didn't get into enough, but I am in some cash now for sure. So looking to pick up some bargains. What's up, Bren?
Consumer confidence number, big miss there at 10 o'clock, guys. 109.3 versus 114.5 expected. So that is definitely enough to make this move back to the downside again. 109.3 versus 114.5.
There's going to be some bargains here, as you already mentioned, Sean. Like I've actually already maybe bottled the Pepsi that I wanted, but I was just looking at some names here. Relative weakness, Applied Materials is down 4.5%. So that's a name that benefited certainly from the I guess the chip shortage as well, and there could be some bargains to be had there. But look at Pepsi. Pepsi coming back to this 150 level. Oh goodness, I love Pepsi at 150. So let's see if we get a chance to get this one at that 150. So here is Tesla. I mean, Moderna is going to stink more because that's more of a missed opportunity. I never mind. Why did that not go to Tesla? So I never mind if I get into a trade, stick to a rule, and then get out of it, right? Like I wanted to short off of that 90 level first. It just ticked me in at the open, a little bit too strong, I guess, and we get out for a relatively tight stop. But I didn't have a re-entry around 95. It just simply wasn't in my plans. It would have been 800. We never got close to 800, so nothing to see there. But it is down to 780. So you can have an idea for a direction, and it just doesn't matter if you can't execute it. This one does hurt, though. Moderna absolutely hurts, because I never got into this position at all. We're halfway to 360, 365. So it gets, if we sniff anywhere close to that today, I think it's going to be a long for me on Moderna. It hasn't happened yet, and we want to wait around for it. Not much to do here, because the last of the long positions that I have is SoFi. I reloaded those teens, and just like Palantir, it's testing that 17 low. The good sign is, as we just extended down in the futures, it was sort of breaking the higher low that it put in, like that 17.15. So it hasn't threatened 17 just yet, but just feels like it's almost a matter of time for SoFi. Hopefully not following the broader market quite as much as some of these other names. To come back to DATS, which was a late addition, that spiked to 1150. I was sort of bidding in front of it at 11:35 here, waiting for this level here. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that bid, allow this one to move. If it holds 12 even, this could really flush down closer to some of those lows. And I kind of want to give some of these shorts a little bit more room. If you got a short that's working in the money, I'm not saying cancel your bids, but you can certainly, especially if you've already taken profit, I mean, you might as well sort of hang on to it. Having a tight stop on the longs made sense like 10, 15 minutes ago, but if something hasn't broken the bottoms that you're looking at is holding support, like a SoFi, I see no need to panic as long as it's holding your support level, although that could be short-lived. We've ignored energy today. I guess maybe that's maybe to my chagrin, but I'm watching Oxy pull back in, and it just broke 30 bucks, which was a decent level on Occidental. Whoops. Come on, consumer confidence probably, oh, look at that ugly wick. Consumer confidence maybe not helping things, but if you look back into yesterday's action, the pullback in Occidental and then the break of 30 had this dip buy into 29.60. So I have my eyes out for 29.60 on Oxy. If we get down there, I think there could be a nice long trade for Occidental. We're not ignoring energy, but you can see, you can only trade so many names at once. The opportunity cost of being in three things pre-market cost me a huge possible winner on Moderna. You never know if you get the execution, but I kind of feel like I would have. It's going to happen. I don't want to miss out on Oxy if it makes a break to the downside. So I'm going to have a bid out at about 29.70 or so, just in case we get this continuation down and move another 30 pennies down in Occidental. Sometimes you want to have that order out there so you don't miss out on it. You can set alerts, whatever you want. I'm just going to throw my bid, so I'm ready to lock and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah, I think... So we just let Palantir fall down a little bit there, obviously, but it doesn't mean that we're done with this name. You know, a 26 break back on the upside here. I mean, we did, you know, in, and then we got out there, so it was losing trade there. But, you know, a 26 break back upside here isn't horrible right here. I mean, if you look at it just, I don't know, man. I mean, the markets, we talked about selling some Palantir. I could show you the sticky note from last Thursday, Friday, that we thought 29 was too high, and we've ran up a little bit too much, and we did expect this to come through on the market. But we do have $26 here trying to hold. So if the market does bounce, I think people come in and start buying up Palantir. So be very, very careful with this name on the short side. But again, you know, we're down now 2% on the NASDAQ. And you know, this was a name that we had talked about, watching out for getting back into 24, 25. I mean, my eyes now, I mean, I talked about getting the shopping list ready for next week. Maybe it's got to get ready right now because this is a nice move to the downside. We could check out some Uber, really, see where that's going. $46. I think this should stay up relatively strong, Uber, but still down that 2%. So everything's starting to crack right now. I'm trying to find something that we could short. So that's really what I'm looking at. Like,
most of the things are deep right now. Like,
I want to short Apple.
I can't repeat what you just said, the playmaker. Can I? No, I can say that. Can I say SNOA pissed the bed like R. Kelly? That's, I guess.
No.
No, I shouldn't say that. No.
I would say you should not say that, but you did. So.
I just repeated what you guys are saying in the chat. This stock is getting absolutely like woodshedded today, but it should be relatively expected, right? Like, if you ever find, and again, a small cap name that has a chart like this, where you have a hard bottom and every single time it pops, it's making harsh reversals. These are real wicks to the upside and then closes like $4 or $5 lower, $2, $3 lower. So to anticipate that it could happen again, I don't think it's going out too far on a limb here. I put a trailing stop now at 740, so no matter what, I'm going to have at least $1.25 in the last of this trade. And you guys are headed towards Brendan.
Looking for some relative weakness, guys. Came across this one, Square, down 6%. Making lows on the day as we speak. There's actually a couple of not bad headlines here for Square today. They launched Square Card in Canada for cash flow and buy now, pay later services, but Square getting hit here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all these high flyers, Square, PayPal, I mean, I do expect all of them to basically get somewhat woodshedded here today to some extent. So, yeah, Apple, we just talked about that name, trying to find something to get here that could bounce. Apple not as weak at all as the market. Normally, when you see the NASDAQ doing these kind of money moves here today, you know, you do get Apple leading the way, which is a very, very much a surprise to me, as I'm sure it is to you as well, Neil, that Apple is holding up, man. If anything, Apple's starting to make the move back to the upside right now. So this may be a name to look at here moving forward as Apple, will try to find some decent ranges here for it. Oh, it did get down to that 142, so it did get to 142.70. That was a very, very key level. I said we can't close below this 142 today, and we got there basically to 143, and we've bounced up a straight dollar. So straight shots fired right here for Apple on the backside. That may be one to look at for a long, but I just got to find some levels here, man. Palantir down 6.
And just looking at one that turned red relatively recently. I never got into Alibaba. Look, it never gave that 154, but just broke 150, wick bottom, and is now holding a 150 level. So it got down to 149.20 actually, and then it snaps right back into this 150. I'm going to take a look also at the banks a little bit later on here as we're getting on in the session. It's only 10:10 actually, so it's not really. You take a step back and it feels like it's an hour into the session. But BABA pops back up to 152. Just look at this double top that it put in. If it gets anywhere close to that, I want to be fading it. I keep looking back at Moderna just to see if it'll have any bounce in it. I was watching clips of The Wire last night.
It's like a golf club flex.
No, well, on the street. Anyways, it's a popular saying on The Wire, but that's neither here nor there. Moderna trying to get off the bottom. There has been no pullback and no dip for me to get in. I thought maybe 93 to 95. Forget about it. I thought maybe 90s. At this point, if it would have bounced $10, I'm not sure I'd want it that shallow anyway. So I kind of have to walk away from Moderna at least a little bit here, guys. And Hunter Dixon, do you think we'll see Apple in the 200 range by Christmas? You're asking Sean that. That's a $5 super chat. Thank you for the super chat.
No.
We'll let Sean answer. That's an easy no. That's about the easiest no ever. I love Apple, but 200? No.
Apple just doesn't have those moves in it. Do I think
Christmas?
Do I think Apple's going to be a hell of a lot higher? Yes, I do.
Next
but not by Christmas. I just think that's a little bit of a pipe dream unless something crazy gets released by Apple. It just doesn't move like that. That's all. So, do I think that Apple's a definite buy at these levels? Yeah, I was waiting for 140. We talked about that, but I mean 200. That's 50% higher from here. It's in too many ETFs. It's just too widely held for me to say that I think that's where Apple's going to go. But I mean, no idea about this. Congratulations, as we're going to hit this out at 36 right now on CEI. Yep. That's here it is right here. Sorry, I don't have the markings on here. So hold on a second. Where is it? Oh, I don't even know where my minute chart is, but there it is. We close out the trade right there. Oh man, still ripping. Yeah, okay. So we got out too early on CEI, but we did close it out there. So a nice win to the upside. Wow, I had no idea on a 305 break that we put on our sticky note right here. That 305 break, we had it, but we had the short first, and then we reversed to the long. So that looks like that's paying off right now on that play. So right now CEI nicely moved to the upside. I thought I had a little bit more on board there, but we did get out of that last piece there. I would have held it on just so it would look nice, but we are out now of CEI, so nothing to see here, but a nice little move up there. I hope some of you take that.
Yeah, just to show you guys relative strength, and we always talk about, and this is not to get preachy or anything, but talk about like diversification of portfolio mattering. Look at Caterpillar. Caterpillar's flat on the session. Caterpillar is still holding right around that 200 level. And after that dip, where we talked about some support that it had, looking pretty solid. I only mention that because another favorite of mine, and you can go Nucor, you can go US Steel. This is holding up after its break as well. So, I mean, probably worth checking out a Nucor because US Steel is actually down 2.5%. And if you can pick up value in some of these names still, today could be the day to start thinking about the materials, start thinking about the banks as well. It's got to be. You got to start thinking about not just where to buy the tech names, but where you can get in some good levels diversifying. I still prefer $20 on US Steel, but if you're not in one of these names, one of these metal names, or at least one of the steel names, then certainly buying up a little bit isn't the end of the world. These are solid levels for all of these names. I just got trailed out of SNOA, so the party is over. The market feels like it's trying to base out here. I'm not saying that's what's going to actually matter here, but I put a 740 trailing stop. I was going to get out likely in front of 7 even anyways, but this has been a fantastic one for me. I'm still holding on to DATS to the short side, and now as you can still see just SoFi to the long side. And I've been looking for something that I can pick up at the bottom. I don't see anything that I love, and no need to rush, right? It's only 10:15. There's going to be some picks that we can make at the bottom. I think this is the kind of day we're going to find some opportunities off of some of these lows. As I say that, some names that we have ignored, not ignored, but haven't talked about. We haven't talked about the travel names here today, and I just want to show you. You see how strong CCL has been. And again, relative strength. CCL is actually up on the session, just barely. This is going to be 26.38 where it closed. You're going to have support at 26 even where it broke out. It's starting to pull back in. So big move off of the open or earlier on in the session, being faded back in now, and then holding yesterday's close price, holding 26 breakout. Yeah, I'll take that. I like this one if it can hold some of these levels down here. So I'll be a buyer in front of these quarters if CCL can hang up here. Now just watch out. The NASDAQ cracking 2%. The ES the NASDAQ starting to base out a little bit, but the ES is falling off a little bit of a proverbial cliff, which I want to show you here after it failing at 4,400. So this is where the caution and patience would come into buying something like a CCL here, just watching the ES follow through on its move while the NASDAQ is starting to slow down a little bit.
Yep. We did go short CEI there, 40s, or was it 40s? Yeah, 40, 41 there. What's my average price? 40 now. And then, so we did get a little bit out here at 35, sorry. Now we're bidding more here. So trying to get out of a little bit more now on CEI as we're just going to play it off 350. So big runner here today, obviously on CEI. So, now we'll go short on it. So that's a short right now on CEI. You can see it on the board right there. We'll just play this to the short side off of 350. If it breaks through 350, man, we're gone. That's why we're going to take out some profit there. When we get 5 cents in the money, we'll take that. We'll average it again here around 45 just to get a better price, and then we'll see what happens to the downside now on CEI. If we get back in here, quarters, we'll take it on this name. So averaging back into this, so hopefully it comes back to the downside, and we'll see what hits now on CEI, looking for 325 to go there. We talked about the cannabis space, and again, this was a name that was on our list early, was ACB, and I thought that the report wasn't as bad as it could have been. Obviously, it wasn't super impressive either, but ACB, a nice move to the upside, our best out 64, so really happy to take that. There goes Camber. Let's go Camber, right down there to 32, so yes, sir, spitting out more money, man. It's unbelievable that on a day like today, we're able to still make some money, even though we've held out to some longs here today, which haven't really worked out for us. Palantir probably still tanking downside there. We're waiting to pick up something, and I told you guys next week is when we're going to start to buy, so I'm expecting more and more downside here in this market, Neil.
And hopefully not too much in Costco, because I just picked this one up. And now I'm going back and looking at some of these levels here, like that 450 area. You do have a bottom a little bit lower than that, 47s and 46s, some 48s here, some wicks to the downside. And this is a stock that you've got to give a little bit of room. But as we talked about, I think when some of the during upgrades and downgrades, we were mentioning some of the, consumer names being worthwhile. Now, you did have that confidence number coming in low. I think that's why you're going to get some pressure on some names that I like. I like Pepsi at 150. For the day trade here, I just saw Costco coming right into a support level. And if I can catch a quick bounce here with a 51 long and then start looking back at this 52 to 55 range, we'll go ahead and take that one. It looks like SoFi is giving up the ghost at 17, so it started out well, and I think it's perfectly fine. We took this one off of 17 even. We're able to get some out in front of 17.50. We reloaded in front of 17, and then it breaks. I'm not going to fight these longs too hard. Like you get the bounce, you take your profit where it is, you'll hold to your stops on a day like today. Especially, like I said, the ES now 1.6. So we're continuing that move into the downside. Hopefully, Costco has made a bit of a bottom here, but I only hold the DATS short. Right, so I'm at that point where things have fallen far enough that I've banked just about every single short trade that I had. DATS being the last one here for me. I am looking for a couple others. I was actually looking at 350 on CEI. I didn't quite get there, but DATS is starting to hold up. So sometimes these small caps can get tricky. The ones that are strong, especially on a day where it's flushing. So you don't want to watch out. This is still a stock. As long as it continues to hold these higher lows, technically speaking here. There's our higher low here, 1150, 1175. That 1250 breakout still stands on DATS, right? So as good as the short has been, maybe it's a memes and movers thing, maybe it's in the power hour, I don't know, but 1250 still looks pretty solid here for a breakout. Now, I know I'm short. I want to make sure I play both ends of this because it's been a really, really strong stock. And in some weakness, you want to look for what's relatively strong. Not much is setting up for a breakout, and DATS is still going to give you that opportunity as long as we hold these higher lows. Great short so far. Also, great to get over to Brendan when we can. Time for that small cap recap. Let's go.
Hi guys, a few small cap names to discuss this morning. We mentioned this one just before the open here, SNOA. I really liked, if you recall, 975, 950 to 975 up to 10. Obviously never comes into play, but that was just all of these tops on the daily chart. That, again, 975 up to about 10. This thing just fell apart as soon as the market opened, took 2 shots at this, but it never gave you a bounce to get more size. So big flush for SNOA. Just marked off this level over here, which is 680. I know that seems, well, it's actually not that far away, but watch 680 for SNOA. Could be support at some point today. That Alphi, 8 even, up to 830, 840. I have a VWAP rule that I adhere to, so I had to wait until it was below this 8 on that flush. Still gave you kind of a secondary push back to the downside. Same story if I shift over one more time to DBGI, same thing. 460, which was support and resistance, finally breaks, gave you an opportunity all the way down to 4, guys. So lots to do in small cap world today. Back to you.
Yeah, small cap world is igniting said net right now. So sometimes you got to get, be on the right names here. So I already have like 30 fills here on CEI. You can see we shorted, took the profits, got blown out, took the long, took more profits, took the short, and now really this is my best trade right now, this short. So we called this name out for you at 350, man. We took that right in front of the teeth of that move. It never really went against us, just now spiked up and then just spiked right down. So we're cashing this out, man. We're still short at 340. You know what? The only negative stock we have, well, we have AMD and Palantir. AMD is really the worst. Palantir is not that bad. It's a hit, but I mean, considering the money that we make on Palantir, this is very, very small. In here, we took dimes out there. Then we had an average price of 08 and got out at 92. So that was 8 into 16. So, take about a dime there and lose 16 there. So realistically, it's not that bad. The worst trade here is AMD, which AMD is now coming up to some key levels here. I think this is going to be worth a long, especially if we do get a battle back temporarily in the market. So let's take an AMD. I mean, we've just gotten crushed on AMD's long. I'm not even sure I should be doing this, but AMD right now possibly looking like a long. Naked Brands up 8% so far today. CEI just Tank City, that's doing well for us. Let's check out Tilray.
Oh my God, Naked Brands at 95 cents.
Yeah, it's
holla at me when that thing. I'm surprised the chat wasn't lit about this, but just on Naked Brands, I was looking for $1, and certainly I had the alerts. If it got to $1, I think I'd be there. And there's some talk, and everyone, we're not ignoring the conversation about the debt ceiling at all, and we're not really all about the politics. But I would be just entirely shocked if they don't fund the government. Like in this environment, that kind of a shock would be almost too much. I just can't see any way that there isn't some kind of compromise that wouldn't come in. And maybe that is a small portion of what you're seeing in this move to the downside. I am looking for Aries to go into the bottom, and I really didn't think there was any chance I'd be shooting 365 on Moderna today. But we're $10 off of that low, so I have to start thinking about it. The only all I got is Costco long, that I almost forgot I was bidding in front of 450. And we talked about that for the upgrades and downgrades. That's which is still working in the money for me. And I'm starting to look at Tesla, if only because if you look at the relative strength in Tesla here, as good as the short, and again, my short stinks. At least, thank God I had a tight stop on it. But 775 ends up holding. Remember, 775 was that level in the pre-market. They said if we were testing down, I was going to look for a breakdown at 775. So that ends up holding as support. So it looks like that's a pretty good level. Trend still forming back in. It's holding some lower highs here. So even that's not getting off the bottom all too well. If you want to look at the other one, which Sean rightfully mentioned, was arguably, and not arguably, it was stronger in a lot of ways, was NIO. It's doing a similar thing to Tesla, only not quite as strong of a rebound. So the same move pops up, fails at 37. It's trying to get back up, but this could be a little bit more clean. This is 36 even here. If the market makes a bottom and you get a chance to go long on a 36 break right here on NIO with exactly 50 cents risk towards low at 35.5, that's not too bad. So I was looking at Tesla, remembered NIO, and this just sets up a little better, right? Like your risk parameters are obviously a little bit better here. Now, yeah, you could take 75s in for a long and a consolidation, probably a safer trade, but I'll shoot for both. I'll take a break. Probably take a few more shares if I can get to 75, because I think buying in front of 75 with a 50 stop is a little bit safer of a play. That goes without saying. So hopping on the bid here on NIO to see if we can't get a bit of action. And then a 36 break will be in the cards for me. I mean, that turnaround at 37, I can't believe I missed that, but I wasn't really looking at that stock at that particular time. But those wick highs that you're looking for, when you get a flush like that at an obvious level, you want to be shorting that 85 to 90 range if you can get it on a setup like that. Clearly, we weren't looking at NIO at that particular time. I'm not complaining because the shorts we had on all worked. Just wish I had held some even more than we did.
Yeah, I feel you on holding a few things today for sure. But one thing we'll do is Batman is in the building right now. And yeah, we're smoking because ACB right there, 30 cents now, Neil, in the money. So this is going to be a good trade for us, hopefully anyways, moving forward. We're still in this name, but we did cash some out on the high side there, no pun intended, well, sort of, when it did spike there, but then we broke that high again, and now we're still going. ACB rocking, right? And what I was noticing too was not so much in TLRY. It's going to the downside right now, Tilray. So I sort of thought that all high tides would raise all ships here, but it doesn't appear anyways to be the case, as Tilray right now on the down low there and ACB rocking and rolling. So we'll keep that in mind as more and more of these names come to report in the next couple weeks, because again, ACB, not a great report, but we read through it. We liked it there, getting close, $1 billion loss into $100 million loss. So, you know, we're looking at ACB right now. We'll see if that's going to be the name that makes a lot of money for people moving forward. That may be the one to slip into, considering what Tilray's doing here today. But to know that yesterday would have been important, not today. CEI, nice move here, man. 25 cents in the money on CEI as it's starting to retrace all the way back, man. We're just touching VWAP right now. This is a smart move to get out of a little bit more here. I just wish I would have held everything, but we actually did pretty good on our hold now. We're holding about 30% left, which is a lot. So for me anyway, so that's a good move to the downside here on CEI. Let's get some out here at VWAP. Looks like we maybe should have picked up some AMD, but we are going to try to find something that's maybe a little bit overdone to the sell side. I liked what Brendan was talking about with Square. I'm going to have a look.
I just got a couple just popped in here. One was, and I got to zoom in because my 15-minute has that wick, is going to be Oxy in front of that 29.50 level, so that popped into the long side. The Neo dip in front of 75 came in, so I got 77s long on NIO. So lots of opportunities starting to come. In terms of looking for stocks that are getting off the bottom or getting towards those lows. So again, it's not about finding, forcing the short, but I wish I had something that I was, like I said, I wish I was holding on to some of those shorts. You got to go into the next trade. And for me, that was finding some of these bottoms. I had that bid in an Oxy when we were sitting at 30. I said I wanted it if it got to that 29.50 area, or at least in front of it. So I started the position here at that 71. So 3 longs and only 1 short is where I find myself, which is not always the most unfamiliar territory ever, but hey, on a day like today, sometimes that's going to happen to you, especially with the market looking this weak. CCL is another one which is starting to come off. Well, I mean, starting to come off, which is pulling back in, was relatively strong. It was positive only about 20 minutes or so ago, and now you're testing down towards that 26. So I like that one for a dip buy as well. I don't know if I want anything more than that. I mean, with Oxy, Costco, Neo, and looking at CCL here in front of 26 even.
Holy.
You know, you don't want to have too many names all in the same direction. That could also, here's the thing, you don't want to get stopped out on all of them with hard stops because you don't want to manage 4 or 5 at the same time. Like, I want to give at least a couple of these some room past these obvious levels. Now, Costco stands out because it'll have a bit of a spread. Neo has tons of liquidity, so don't have to worry there. Oxy already starting to bounce a little bit. So in the money about 10 cents on Oxy, 11, 12, 13. Now Neo in the money 10 cents on that bounce. Costco relatively flat. So let's see if we don't have the low on some of these. I'd love to add CCL to that list as we're going for bottom picking in the market, because ES 1.6 down, NASDAQ 2.2. Not sure what the Dow was at, but I'm sure it can't be up.
No, I wouldn't think it was up at all right now. But yeah, the S&P down 1.6. We can actually find out right now. DJI is going to be the diamonds. Or sorry. DIA is the diamonds, and we can find out right now what the Dow is up or down here roughly. I mean, this is just a rough minus 1.16 there. You could trade the diamonds if that, just like the triple Qs and the SPY. So very, very similar there if you are looking to trade something that may follow here. Some of the, the more industrial names there. AMD still making moves to the downside. And what about AMC? We haven't looked at that yet today. Down to 37 right now. Holding up not horribly. It's still down that 3.5%, so it's not a great day here for AMC. Starting to make moves to the downside. The 1-day range, we are right at some kill spots again on this name. The 20-minute doesn't look great. The 1-minute right here making a bottom at 37.30. So now we'll just have to wait to see. $38, taking that out might be a nice little spark to the upside here on AMC. Yeah, 38.10. We're going to go long on AMC. 38.10, long on AMC. I actually like this trade, guys.
There you go, AMC. I was looking at GameStop to see if I saw anything I liked as well the second you mentioned that, because that's where my mind goes. NEO's starting to work up. I haven't taken anything out, but like I said, if I was going to go 36 break long and also like the dip buy at 37 and a quarter, I'm going to take profit on 35 and a quarter. I'm going to take some profit in front of that 36 once we get it, lock some of that in, and then make sure we have that breakout potential there as the market's trying to find a little bit of a bottom. So just got some shares on NEO. We'll go with that because it's been a pretty good day. I can't really complain too much, although there were some missed opportunities. And I think, like we said, and it's not to dwell on a point, but a lot of times when the market's going for you, you want to make sure you hold on to some things. Occidental was one we wanted to make sure we got at the bottom. I bottom because I was waiting down here in front of that 70 level, but it's starting to make a move as well up back towards that 30. So once again, in front of that 30 level, I'll definitely take some profit. I want to make sure that we're banking profit on the way up as some of these stocks bounce here. Why? Because the trend is very, very clearly unbroken to the downside, and you don't want to dig in too deep. So take some of the profit on some of these longs as they work. I can tell you, Costco, and probably because of that confidence number, I think it's going to be, and how strong it's been as well is probably weighing in on it. But I got my offer out here in front of that VWAP and in front of 43s. It's continuing to hold this low, not even 450, 450 and a half. It's not making much of a bounce. NIO took some profit already. Occidental took some profit on that long, holding on to my dad's short. Costco doing absolutely nothing for me. I'm right in the middle of the range where this has been sitting. It's got up to like 52s. It's gone down to 40 and a half. And I'm sitting here long 51.36. So we'll see what happens with Costco. 3 longs, 1 short. Interesting place to be in this market.
Okay, so we got an idea there to go long on Palantir. So we just take out 12, 15 cents there, buying this dip on the downside here. If there's going to be a rally in any names, I like this one, obviously. We've always talked about Palantir, so let's see where we go from here now on PLTR. I like this name. We just took some out. We're long in 83 here, so it's going to be a good name for us moving forward. Palantir, nice one there, 25.83. So, and then CEI, Cambridge Energy's moving like crazy. We have that one. But we are super, super excited for our next guest of the day. You know them, you love them. We're going to go over to Brendan right now.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, we're happy to have fresh off ringing the opening bell at the NEO Exchange here in Toronto this morning. Jordan Freed, CEO and Chairman of Mutable Holdings, and Mr. Wonderful is back with us. Kevin O'Leary, strategic investor in the company, to discuss his latest venture into the world of blockchain. So Immutable Holdings is the parent company of websites such as NFT.com, 1-800-BITCOIN. We'll get into a few more in a second, but Kevin, you have said recently that this is an investment that you jumped into almost instantly, which is saying a lot, we all know, for you. Tell us the story here. Tell us why.
Basically, the way I look at Hold, that's the symbol it's now trading on the NEO, it's infrastructure for the internet. When you invest in crypto, you can't just invest in Bitcoin. You have to invest in the infrastructure that makes cryptocurrencies and NFTs and all of the things that go with being a crypto investor possible. And I look at this company and I immediately recognize what it was when I got the first presentation from Jordan. This is an infrastructure play. This is owning the blockchain. This is owning all kinds of assets in a diverse portfolio. I'll let Jordan speak to them, but this is a must-own long-term holding. If you're going to own Bitcoin, in my view, my personal opinion is you hold. That's exactly what we're doing here as an investor, and that's what I'm doing. I think, when you listen to what Jordan's putting together in this company, this is going to be one of the core assets you own as an equity. So you can own equities in crypto. Companies like Immutable Holdings. Hold. That's what I like to say.
That is a fantastic ticker. And Jordan Freed has been featured in magazines such as Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc.com, Wired, Time Magazine, Success.com. We're thrilled to have him. Jordan Freed, tell us the story here from your side of the table. What was the concept here? And fill us in, as Kevin was saying.
Yeah, well, first, thanks so much for having me. It's a really exciting day. We just listed, and thanks for the compliments on the ticker. I couldn't believe HOLD was available. The concept's really simple. When you look at the public equity markets, besides owning some mining companies, there isn't a really great way to take equity exposure in the infrastructure and all the exciting opportunities, picks and shovel businesses being built around the blockchain world. Coinbase has just gone public under the ticker COIN, coin. And we're getting more of these opportunities. Our concept was, what if we put together a bunch of really exciting breakout businesses in blockchain, an asset management business, 1-800-BITCOIN, NFT.com, and built the Berkshire Hathaway of blockchain. That's the vision. That's what we're going to market with. And we think it's just a really compelling opportunity for investors to not just own cryptocurrency, but really own blockchain via a really exciting blockchain equity in their portfolios.
I want to get your thoughts here quickly on NFT.com specifically, because it's a very interesting idea. So this is an NFT marketplace, if you will. Tell us, how this will work if people wanted to get involved on the NFT side of things, because it has become such a huge topic this year.
It's a huge topic, and that's not going to change. NFTs, whether you like it or not, are going to be part of our lives for the rest of our lives. Everything of value in the physical world is going to be represented in the digital world in the form of a token, whether that's a title deed to a property that you own, whether that's a piece of art, authenticity certificate of a Rolex, or season tickets, seat 5 and 6, row 7, section 101 at your favorite venue. With NFT.com, what we really started at was first principles. Domain names are sort of the first NFT. Only one person or company can own NFT.com. Only one person can own NFT.com/Mr. Wonderful or Kevin O'Leary. What we have done is we've made it possible to literally own your online presence or own your profile. That's not possible today on Facebook or Twitter or other Web 2.0 social networks. Quite literally, Facebook can take that back from you at any point in time. So with NFT.com, you own your profile. It's an NFT itself. And when you have that NFT, that's actually how you log in. You take that NFT, Trader TV NFT. If you've got that in your wallet, you can log in, you can modify that profile, you can issue NFTs, you can buy NFTs. That's what we're launching. And listen, with a place like NFT.com, a brand like that, we really think that we can quickly become a market leader in the space.
And the company has already said multiple M&A opportunities exist in this space and will exist going forward, including contributing to the blockchain itself. Where do we see this going over, the next 3 to 5 years?
So this sector is exploding right now. We started with having mining companies going public. And really, when you look at Bitcoin, what a great incentive structure to have people fighting for the right to add new blocks to the blockchain and getting rewarded in Bitcoin. We've got, half a dozen to a dozen multi-billion-dollar companies dedicated to building better computer chips and taking those companies public. More blockchain equity exposure needs to come to public markets to give traditional investors exposure to that in their portfolios. We're really excited to grow as a business, to one, capitalize using the public markets, but to be the consolidator. The Berkshire blockchain narrative is not just us as business builders. We've built several really successful technology brands ourselves, and we've got a really experienced, tremendous team here. It's us going out there and rolling new, exciting, already established businesses into the Immutable Holdings portfolio. And that really presents a tremendous opportunity. So the sky's the limit. I think the addressable market here is really boundless.
Kevin, we've seen over the past 6 months to a year even some absolutely astronomically high sale prices when it comes to NFTs. If somebody is new to this topic, new to this subject matter, what do you say to someone who's a little bit skeptical seeing these just amazing prices for some of these things?
I always tie them back to use cases that involve physical assets they understand. And I'll give you one that is close to my heart that I'm going to be getting involved with. I collect watches. You guys know that. What I need for a watch, if I'm going to trade it and buy it in the aftermarket, let's say I want to buy a Patek Philippe that's 27 years old, which is something I'm looking at right now. That piece is very expensive. It's a piece of art. Probably going to have to pay over $250,000 for it as a collectible. But I have to go through authentication now. It's going to take me months and cost me thousands of dollars because it doesn't have a certificate. It doesn't have anything that proves to me that it's real. So I have to send it to an expert in New York named John Reardon. So I said to John, listen, you curated the Patek Philippe Museum for 10 years. Why don't you and I go to the Horological Society and other investors and create NFTs for watches like this? Now, obviously, I had in mind the fact that I'm a shareholder in Immutable in Hold because that's the domain I'm going to be using this for. So in the future, when I want to buy a watch, it'll have an NFT associated with it that guarantees its authenticity. It's authentic. And in addition to that, if I can't afford that watch, or there's only one of them, can I buy the NFT of its dial? So I can collect these dials because I'm a collector of dials when I buy watches. So there's all kinds of use cases for NFTs. but you need to own the mother infrastructure. That's what Immutable has. They own NFT.com. I never put a lot of value on URLs until the NFT market exploded. This is probably the most valuable URL in the universe for NFTs because it's NFT/Paris Hilton, NFT/Nike. You can see where this goes. And that's the thought behind what hold is. My attitude about this, and I'll keep saying it, you got to hold in your portfolio. It's a personal opinion, but it's the infrastructure. It's the picks and the shovels of the future of this digital world of NFTs.
I'll get your opinion. I'll get both of your opinions on this as well. If somebody, we'll go back to that subject matter. If somebody's new to this, where would they, get started? If someone's new to NFTs, never, traded one, never bought one, never sold one, where would you send them first to get started in this topic?
Yeah, it's a great question. Really, understanding NFTs requires you to really understand the blockchain and Bitcoin itself, which admittedly can be very intimidating. If you've got no prior experience with it, we've noticed very little resources in the market for a beginner, sort of a Bitcoin or blockchain 101. That was actually the motivation, shameless plug, for us acquiring 1-800-BITCOIN. We've got the global exclusive rights to that phone number, 1-800-BITCOIN. It will be a toll-free call where we intend to provide educational materials from everyone from a beginner who's just heard about the blockchain or Bitcoin for the first time to people who have been around it for several years. I've spent most of my professional career in this world. I found Bitcoin in 2012, and it was a serendipitous accident. But I feel the burden of all of us in this ecosystem now need to help make it mainstream. We need to help people understand this tech, what it means. And once you understand the blockchain and you understand what a fungible token is, you can really understand what a non-fungible token like an NFT is, and there will be more resources for us to point, perhaps an NFT.com free academy or some free educational materials that we'll share in a free section of our website on NFT.com in the future.
The opportunities endless. Kevin, do we see a NFT.com/watches in the near future?
Yes, you will. I'm not sure we'll call it that. We might. But I feel very passionate about that sector. I'm very fortunate to know the world's largest collectors and the CEOs of all the watch companies. And so as I've approached them and started talking about this, what we're going to develop first is a standardized protocol right out of the Horological Society that governs what is included in a watch NFT to make it authentic. And so once we have that and we have the watch companies agreeing to those standards, then we start issuing the NFTs. There'll be other people trying to take pictures of watches and make NFTs out of them, but it won't, in my view, unless you have the protocol developed with the Horological Society, that will be the standard by which all of these watches will occur. And in thinking through that and developing, that's a separate investment for me. But I thought I've got to work with Jordan on this because he owns NFT.com. So the watch companies may want their own domains. The dealers may want their own domains. There's all kinds of people in the watch industry, which, by the way, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is why it's so important to start doing NFTs around these real valuable assets. The first collection in the world that's going to be turned into these NFTs, you guessed it, it's going to be mine.
Why are we not surprised? HOLD, as we said, guys, the ticker, brand new as of this morning on the NEO exchange. Congratulations to both of you. An exciting day. We appreciate your time, as always.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Have a great day. There we go, guys. HOLD on the NEO exchange.
Because if you're not first, you're last. And,
I'm going to show my watch, but that's okay.
Just to get it out of the way, because
no, it doesn't matter now.
I know they don't want to talk about the stock price. That's fine if they don't want to do that. But just to show you Hold, which is an awesome ticker. It opened at 76. It's trading up at $1.35 right now. That's on the NEO exchange here in Toronto, baby. Because
it's all about Toronto.
We're Canadian. We're Canadian.
Oh, Canada,
here,
Mr.
so
Wonderful in the building. Look, I think it's a great idea. NFTs are taking the world by storm, and I mean, Brendan did a killer job there asking some questions that were necessary. Like, what a great domain name, NFT.com. Are you kidding me right now? 1-800-BITCOIN. Lots of possibilities there. I don't need to keep telling you guys about that, but again, another great interview. Thank you to Mr. Wonderful. And I want to have him back on just for fun. I think we could do that. Yeah. I remember we were sitting at this exact table, and I actually have it up on my Instagram, and I'm hoping we can revisit this moment. Let me just find it for you right here, if I can, here, you guys can help me here. we scroll. Remember we had NBA Top Shot here on as well. So that's another NFT. Where is it? Where is it? It's one of my, here it is. One of my favorite moments right now with Mr. Wonderful when we were comparing watches back in the day. And so hopefully we can return to this area and Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, can come through our office one more time and have some fun with us. But thank you again, a friend of the show and another great segment. And thank you to Brendan.
Hey, it was a fantastic interview. Brendan always does a great job. Daniel Longo saying in the chat, what a coincidence. Both of you decided to wear real watches on the day Mr. Wonderful made his presence. So I always wear the same watch when I trade, and it was the very first real purchase I made when I was working, because I never spent money on myself, and I got this one in the Caribbean. And I always wear it when I trade. It's not like a superstition, but it kind of is a superstition. It kind of just reminds me of when I actually made it. So anyways, it is what it is. It's not a coincidence, I don't think, at least not for me. There was a point today when I said one of the things that you got to be able to do on a day like today is hold on to your short trades. And this is me covering DATS in front of 1125, and 1 minute later it flushed 50 pennies. And DATS went positive to negative very, very briefly here. So it's a good trade, and I don't even want to hit a key for it. So I'll do this because it flushed itself down to it, but I got out way too soon. I could have pulled this bid. I had a chance to pull this bid as I saw it sort of consolidating here. I didn't do it, then it absolutely flushed into 1070. DATS continuing to go to the downside, and this was all about the 15-minute for me. When I came in today and saw the opportunity when the market was starting to flush and run to the downside and DATS was getting to this triple top, I tried to set it a couple times here that this was going to be a short off of that 1250 level. You can now throw out the breakout because it needed to hold up around 1150. Hold this level here, then you can look for a break. It's now entirely too weak for that idea to come in. While all this was happening, I hate to tell you, NIO, we got some out in front of 36. It's now retesting the bottoms. The market's still trying to find a low. Holding up a little bit better on the bounce has been Oxy. And as the market was coming down here, we talked about Oxy's dip in yesterday's action off that 30 level, dipped to 2960 or 2950. Just in front of 2950 here. So I bought the dip in front of that. We got one leg out in front of 30. I'm holding on to the rest of this trade. That's all I got left. I got NEO and Oxy to the long side, and NEO doesn't look very good at all.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so what happened to me was pretty funny. CEI, I mean, look at this short, man. It's 344. Bang, all the way to the downside there. Was able to cover, but then we did leave, and this is the crazy part, we did leave a stop in there to get out if this level broke. That was off this long, but that never came in, so we did get executed on a stop order there. But look at that CEI, man, a good short up there. We called that short just like we called this 305 long, so CEI, good name here, ready to rock and roll. And then when you were gone there, we just did the same thing that we always do on Sir Palantir here, and we go to the downside, and then we just pick it up, and then we just got it out. So if I zoom in a little bit more here, just to show you guys, long 77, out 87, out 89, out 94. So, I mean, this doesn't look, when I'm back like this, you're like, oh, it doesn't look like it's that great. But, I mean, this is how you put Palantir right back into your pocket and now get that stock positive on the day for you. So, I mean, we are positive now on Palantir. So, hey, that's why sometimes better to trade it rather than hold these things. I am looking to pick up something near the bottom here. Palantir is going to be one of those names that we can reload into our account as well. Although I just checked, my average price is 17 now on Palantir. We're lucky enough to get 9s, and we traded it out all the way up, and our last buy was 22. So 9 plus a couple outs plus 22s is where we got 17 right now. Facebook falling like 341. I don't like that name anymore. We talked about Apple. The funny thing about Apple is, man, if you shorted that, put like a hell yeah or something in the chat. I didn't do it. But when Apple was struggling, remember when Apple was only 0.8 down? It was 0.8 down, and the market was basically right where we are now. Look at Apple since then, man. 143.50, ticking down to 143, while the NASDAQ is, well, you can't see that, guys. Well, the NASDAQ is doing nothing right now. Apple making moves to the downside. So we actually identified the relative strength in Apple, but now it's catching back up to the downside. So watch out. I'm still nervous about a close near that 142. Gets me super, super nervous, and also gets the checkbook ready to get written for some of these calls as well. So we're going to watch Palantir now, 10 cents in the money. ACB still cruising to the upside right now, and still near highs. So ACB up 6%, so we're really happy with that one. And it's actually been a pretty good day considering I'm a bull. We've made some money on the short.
And speaking of money, that leads us right to one of our favorite segments. Brendan is at the big screen. It's time for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's jump right into things here because a lot happening today. 10.5-month highs for the US dollar today, up 0.3%. It was up about 0.5% at its highs today. This is a daily chart, so you got to go all the way back to the end of last year to get to where we are right now, testing 10.5-month highs on the US dollar as interest rates start to creep back to the upside, as we've been talking about. So the euro under pressure today, the Canadian dollar under pressure as well, 0.4%. We're back to 78.8. The British pound a full 1.2% to the downside, 135. I want to jump down here quickly to cryptocurrencies because important levels being tested here, guys, on some of these. 2850 there for Ethereum, back to 41,000 early on this morning for Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, big levels. I mean, 27, we get
We're
there.
back.
That's a big one. And there was a lot of questions. Someone was asking over and over again about Lucid. So I was one and done in this stock off the low in front of that 25.5. But it's almost at that second level that we mentioned. And this is going back to the 15. Let me zoom in, zoom out so you can see a little bit better. When in doubt, zoom out.
Yep.
This is 24.25. This is a little higher at 24.30. This is that 24.50 area. So I think there is some support trying to come into Lucid. That double top, obviously was a great opportunity. But the breakout to get to that double top was supported by the 24.25 and then some subsequent higher lows all the way through. So I think you have an area of support between that quarter and that 50. It is testing it right now. And speaking of testing it, NEO continues. And this is like the only two things I'm left in are Oxy and NEO to the long side after horrendously getting out of that DATS too simple, although it's back at 1140 DATS. But NEO, we got out some shares. We've gotten back in. Here's my price now, 35.70, or just slightly below 35.70. You see 69 there. If it breaks this 50, I don't want to hold on to this too far. I think maybe it can find some support closer to that 35 even, but I'm not holding it all the way to 35. This is kind of that point, this line in the sand type of idea where, if you're buying these dips, you can't do it forever. You have to pick a line in the sand. I've got low of the day here for NEO. It's one of the last stocks I have for that dip, and we'll see what does happen with it. I mentioned a couple times here, always think about relative strength on days like today, and I know we've already gone over this name, and we're going to do it again because it's almost up 1%, and it is near highs of the day, and that is Caterpillar. It had rounded up. It got well in front of that support down at 180. So it actually held 190s in front of that, and it's been really strong for the last week or so, and setting up into this 202 level for a potential break on Caterpillar. The market rebounds could be interesting. But hey, the way this market's been going, I would not be shocked if 202 turned into a little bit of a resistance for the third time, because you did test it yesterday and you've already been up there once today, 201.95 in particular. If it turns again, you could get a pullback, which might give you $1 or $2 into that 200. So Caterpillar relative strength, getting to an obvious resistance level at that 202. The longer it holds here, I guess the better the break will be. But in this market, could be worth a shot for a quick little short scalp.
And I'm glad I sort of, sometimes I find myself getting caught in here and lose, tons of money. But today, the negative name that we have on the board is AMD. And, we captured it real early, real quick there on a nice move. That's part of what's saving me there. 50 cents in, and then we caught another move there, and then we averaged and caught a bump. But then out there, not averaged in, got out on that break, then tried it one more time and got out, and then back and forth there at 104.50. So, AMD just continues to make moves to the bottom here. To pick up that very bottom would have been pretty sweet at 103.50. I actually don't even think, guys, to be honest with you, I don't even think the NASDAQ is done yet today. So, you're only down that 2.3. You could go down a lot more than that. Looking for that to exactly do happen. So, I'll probably stay away from AMD, but if the market does get going a little bit, we don't have a problem to get back, but I'm going to stay away from AMD. I'm going to go back over to something like an Apple or something that I see that's relatively strong. Aurora continuing to go up now 7%. So that's back to highs, day high right now in Aurora Cannabis. So some of these names have really saved us today. CEI is going to be one of those. Tesla is going to be one of those as well. That I look at this like this is still my number one stock, which is crazy. A position that I took early in the first 10 minutes still remains my number one stock because we've just been trying to catch falling swords and it just hasn't worked out. WFC again today. What's JP Morgan down? WFC down 4% today. Let's check out JP Morgan up, I think. think,
They should
today.
be, yeah, because WFC had the bad news, but
Yeah, they had news yesterday. So JP Morgan flat. WFC yesterday had the news about
They flat today,
credit, and I don't know, they're getting a DOJ investigation on how they're dealing there. But I think you got to pick up some WFC, to be honest with you, on that investigation. To me, that's kind of a nothing burger. But wait for WFC. Again, having a problem here with our charts because it just won't show because of these wicks. But hey, man, down 4% today, WFC, I like it.
and just to put a chart on it, because that's what we kind of do around here, I guess, right? Like
We try to, anyways.
We try to. Just going to show you with only 5 minutes to go. Ethereum sort of breaking down through a key level here. And I happen to have a 60-minute chart up. That's just what I'm looking at here. And you're going to look at that obvious 2,700 level, which I think is next in line if this move starts to continue to the downside. We're not getting too much relief here. In the ES now getting to that 1.5 mark and holding. If we crack that 43.5 on the ES, like this could get really, really interesting in terms of how far this move does extend. And the NASDAQ getting very, very close to this bottom here at 14.8. If the NASDAQ can't hold that, if these happen simultaneously, you might. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you get those sometimes double wipeout key levels and then they immediately rebound. So if that happens and I'm still holding on to these longs, they're going to add to the position. But first things first, both these futures markets testing some pretty key levels here, both on the ES and the NASDAQ. With only 4 minutes to go, you know where you're headed after here, and it's going to be two memes and movers, which you know is going to be fantastic because there's small caps moving, the market is going ape, you know what?
Yep.
And chip makers moving. I was just looking at Micron here, which
Micron. Forgot about Micron.
Well, this was of course my horrible cheap segue into what is a few of earnings that are coming to the board. What do we have here today, Brendan?
Took the words right out of my mouth, Neil. Here we go, guys. Aftermarket tonight and before the open tomorrow.
New Micron was, wow, jacked up. Yeah, so Micron, J-Bill there, Palantir. I don't even know what is Palantir. That seems.
I know what it's not.
I know what it's not as well. It's not Palantir. Palantir 10 cents in the money right now. Look, Micron, they're going to start this whole chip, craziness now, so we'll see where they go here. But Micron right now down 2.5%. Bar coding on the daily chart. I mean, Micron's right at a spot where if you like it, and if Lisa Sue's right from AMD and that the chip shortage possibly shall end at some point, then Micron is a name that we got to look at. And I think that's a strong one for anybody. So definitely check out Micron tomorrow. I'm not making a call on it because, quite frankly, with the NASDAQ doing what it's doing, I don't want to make any calls ahead of earnings because you could wake up tomorrow and you're down another 2%.
Yeah, I think this is it'll be like a bit of a bellwether, and that's what we'll use it for. So there is a key 69 level that. It is 69, I'm not making it up. Rob didn't hear it, he'd be snickering. There's a key 69 level which you want to hold up, and it's only a couple of dollars away from that right now. So we'll have to watch out for that. There's a couple, just a couple of things before we get out of here. I just want to come back to an energy name because Oxy is on the move to the upside. And like I said, the market's on some key levels. So you want to make sure if you got something that might be worth holding on to in the case that we get a bounce. I'm not going to take Oxy out. What you think would be obvious in front of 30.15, I'm going to hold on through that break and maybe consider closer to VWAP or 30.50. We still have one more thing that we do before we get out of here.
What day is it?
What national day? Missy?
Hey guys, I hope you're having a great, profitable day so far. Thank you for all the support, and please make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. Well, me and Prad are super excited to start Memes and Movers show. You can join us at the link or just wait and you will be transferred automatically there. And happy National Strawberry Cream Pie Day, everyone.
We've had a lot of strawberry things. Maybe we had strawberry. No, it was cherry jubilee. That's what it wasn't. Wasn't it strawberry? No, it was chocolate milk. But then we talked about strawberry milk. I don't know. I'm all confused right now.
Strawberry cream.
Was that what it was? Strawberry cream pie day?
I'm like
I don't know if I've ever had that, to be honest with you.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like cream pies, but pecan pie is a good one. There's lots of good pie opportunities. What's your favorite pie, Brendan?
Banana cream pie. If we're talking about cream pies, apple pie obviously, but banana cream pie specifically on the cream pie end of this. I don't know, guys.
I don't know. I like banana cream pie as well. Lemon meringue is up there.
Oh my
lime.
Key lime. I mean, if you've never
little bit of cream up in there.
had key lime pie, like actually drive down Key West, which is gorgeous by the way. If you've done that drive, and then actually get a real key lime pie from down there, it's fantastic. And then of course you get to
Miami.
look at the ocean as well. So that's fantastic. And I don't know why I'm thinking about that because we're talking about pie, and I love all forms of pastry. We're only 30 seconds to go before we take you to Memes and Movers. What an unbelievable session it's been. We had a lot. We had
stop
Jeff Mendel
watching
on
this
here.
market, man.
Look, it was. Immutable came on, and what a fantastic interview that was with Mr. Wonderful. You're getting moves in crypto, you're getting moves in energy, you're getting moves in tech, you're getting moves in small caps, you're getting moves absolutely everywhere. And look, that's an obvious segue. Of course, we'll be back at 3 o'clock for Power Hour. Before that happens, all of you are headed straight on over to Trader Pratt and Miss V, who I'm hoping had some trades in Tesla today. Let's get to memes and movers.
Short.
Bye, guys.
Welcome to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. This is the beautiful Miss V here.
Hi guys, welcome back everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please be active on the chat. Ask us any question you want, write stocks that are moving, or just be active and share with us your trades. Also, please smash the like button and